Nepal rings in English New Year 2026 with festivities. Global countdown underway as countries welcome 2026. Nepal's Election Commission confirms no blacklist for candidates who submitted election expenses. Severe cold wave hit southern Nepal's Tarai, disrupting life and health services. Nepal's airports struggle amid political pressure, billions wasted on non-functional infrastructure. And ICC T20 World Cup trophy to visit Nepal for the first time. Nepal set to compete in Group C. Good evening, I'm Smituki Singh Thamang and this is NTV World Primetime News coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Across the globe, it's 1:15 p.m. in London, 10:15 p.m. in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in details. As the world prepares to ring in 2026, Nepal is celebrating New Year's Eve with fanfare in major cities and tourist hubs across the country. Cities are gearing up for countdown events, fireworks and cultural celebrations, with officials urging the public to celebrate safely. Large events are taking place at major public gatherings, including Kathmandu's Darbar Marg and Thamel in capital Kathmandu, as well as popular tourist and festival spots to ensure smooth celebrations. While Nepal's diverse ethnic groups and cultures celebrate their own New Year, with official Nepali New Year Bikram Sambat falling in mid-April-May, the English New Year is also widely observed. Countries across the world are similarly counting down to midnight, marking the start of 2026. Nepal's Election Commission has clarified that candidates who previously contested elections and complied with legal requirements to submit and publish their campaign expenditure details have not been blacklisted, dismissing recent media reports as inaccurate. Commission spokesperson Narayan Prasad Bhattarai said on Thursday that confusion arose after reports claimed even compliant candidates were included on a blacklist. The clarification relates to the parliamentary elections held in 2079 BS, which is 2022-80. According to the Commission, only candidates who failed to disclose their election expenses as required by law were penalized. Such candidates were fined 1,500 rupees, approximately $11, and instructed to resubmit and publicly disclose their campaign expenditure details. The Commission spokesperson further explained that candidates who have paid the prescribed fine at the relevant election office or whose cases have been settled through court orders face no restrictions on contesting future elections. The Election Commission, a constitutional body responsible for conducting and overseeing elections in Nepal, reiterated that transparency in campaign financing remains a legal requirement. The Commission urged media outlets and the public to rely on official statements to avoid misinformation regarding electoral eligibility and compliance. The Madhya provincial government has completed the formation of its cabinet with the appointment of 6 ministers nearly a month after Chief Minister Krishna Prasad Yadav assumed office. Province Chief Dr. Surendra Labkarna administered the oath of office in secrecy to the new ministers at Madhya Bhawan in Janakpur Dham, Thanusha on Thursday. On the occasion, the province chief administered oath to Minister for Labour and Transport Manish Kumar Suman, Minister for Physical Infrastructure Development Raj Kumar Gupta, Minister for Forest and Environment Shankar Prasad Chaudhary, Minister for Land Management, Agriculture and Cooperatives Shyam Prasad Patel, and Minister for Sports and Social Welfare Basant Kumar Kushwaha. Likewise, Fakira Mahato, who has been entrusted with responsibility of the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Communications and Ministry of Law, also took the oath. With the cabinet now fully formed, authorities expect a boost in governance and administrative activities that had slowed during the transition period, marking a significant step towards strengthening provincial administration in Nepal's Madhya province. As the winter chill grips southern Asia, Nepal faces a unique pattern due to its diverse geography. While the northern Himalayas see heavy snowfall, the central hills see bright sunshine but drop in the mercury. The Tarai Plain, that is the hottest region of the country, sees major impact of the cold due to thick smog and sunless sky for almost a month period. Rojina Rai with our local correspondent Guru Prasad Gautam explains more.
The southern district in the Tarai Plains of Nepal are grappling with an intense cold wave. Temperatures have plummeted to a yearly low of 11 to 12 degrees Celsius, affecting elderly, street dwellers, daily wage workers, and school students. While the temperature reading does not tell excessive cold, the thick smoke accompanied by bone-chilling mist makes the sun invisible for days. The hospitals in the plains are overwhelmed with patients with cold-related complaints. District including Bara, Parsa, Siraha, Saptari, and the surrounding areas are the hardest hit. Typically occurring between mid-December and February, the cold spell has arrived with particular intensity, causing daily life to grind to a near halt. According to the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, minimum records have hovered around 11 degrees Celsius, while daytime highs barely reached 12 degrees Celsius. Health officials in Madhya province have reported a worrying rise in respiratory and heart-related illness.
प्रेसर को बिरामीहरूलाई मस्तिष्कघात र हृदयघात यो दुईटा कुरा पनि एकदम धेरै बढेछ। अस्ति म ओपीडीमा बस्दाखेरि बिहानदेखि नै 3टा हार्ट अट्याक र 2टा स्ट्रोकको पेशेन्ट आउनुभयो।
At the provincial hospital in Kalaiya, around 70 patients with cold-related ailments visit daily. The most vulnerable homeless individuals, daily wage workers, students, and the elderly have borne the brunt of the cold. In response, all 16 local levels in southern Bara have closed schools and distributed firewood, with the relief efforts still underway. Daily life has been severely disrupted as market activities have slowed. Residents are venturing out only when necessary, and dense fog has reduced road visibility, causing traffic disruptions. Air travel has also been affected, with flights from Simra Airport to Kathmandu repeatedly delayed over the past 2 weeks due to low visibility. As the Tarai braces for continued cold and fog, authorities and communities alike are struggling to keep vulnerable populations safe and ensure that essential services continue despite the harsh winter conditions.
As temperatures plummet across the country, health experts are warning of a sharp rise in winter-related ailments, ranging from severe respiratory infections and heart strain to overlooked risks like dehydration and seasonal affective disorder. Doctors urge particular caution for infants, the elderly, and those with pre-existing conditions, advising that simple precautions are essential to prevent common seasonal health issues from becoming life-threatening. Sabika Shrestha brings more. We'll take a short break here. More news coming up. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Nepal's tourism sector shows signs of resilience in 2025 despite political turmoil and post-pandemic challenges. Nepal Tourism Board says Nepal welcomed around 1.06 million international tourists by November and is expected to reach 1.15 million by year-end. The peak tourism season in November saw political unrest causing uncertainty over safety and prompting multiple cancellations across hotels and trekking routes. Between January and October, Nepal still recorded 943,716 foreign arrivals, slightly higher than the same period in 2024. In response to disruptions, Nepal Tourism Board launched the campaign I Am in Nepal Now, encouraging visitors to share their experiences online. Videos of tourists being assisted by police and local residents went viral, reinforcing Nepal's tourism motto, "Guests are gods." Officials note that improved infrastructure and growing international confidence are helping Nepal's tourism sector recover. Yet, the country remains far from its target of 2.5 million foreign arrivals annually, with statistics largely reflecting air arrivals, while land-based tourism, particularly from India, is often overlooked. Meanwhile, underused and non-functional airports further limit Nepal's ability to efficiently handle international tourists, highlighting ongoing challenges in the aviation sector, even as the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal CAN enters its 27th year. Underused and non-functional airports further limit the country's capacity to handle international tourists efficiently. Much of Nepal's aviation sector and airport infrastructure remains underutilized or non-functional, even as the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal enters its 27th year. Nepal has a total of 55 airports, but only 26 are in regular operation. Political influence and a focus on prestige projects rather than technical necessity have put billions of rupees of state investment at risk. At least 26 airports are currently completely closed, including facilities in Lamidada, Baittari, Chaurjahari in Rukum, Doti, Manang, Masini Chaur in Dolpa, Tikapur and Safe Bagar. Although billions have been spent on airport infrastructure, only 25 airports are operational and 14 of them are running at a loss. CAN spokesperson Gyanendra Bhul says operating costs of many airports exceed income, making them difficult to sustain. Of the country's airports, 42 have paved runways, while 13 remain unpaved, often halting flights during the monsoon season. Although 10 airports are equipped for night operations, only 3 currently provide effective night flights. Experts warn that without strategic planning and feasibility studies, state investment in airports continues to result in loss-making facilities and unused infrastructure. Nepal's benchmark stock index, Nepal Stock Exchange (NEPSE), climbed by 10.87 points on Thursday to settle at 2,633.76 points, indicating sustained positive sentiment among investors. More than 11.9 million shares of 342 listed companies were traded in about 63,000 transactions, with total turnover reaching approximately 5.13 million Nepali rupees, equivalent to around 38 to 39 million US dollars at the prevailing exchange rate. All sectoral indices ended the session in positive territory, led by the manufacturing and processing sector, which rose by 1.61%. Shares of SY Panel Nepal Limited and Nyadi Hydropower Limited hit the positive circuit, while Wind Nepal Lagubitha Sanstha Limited, a microfinance institutions, declined to the negative circuit. By trading value, Green Venture Limited led the market with 349,744 shares exchanged for a total turnover of 177.9 million Nepali rupees, or roughly 1.3 million US dollars, the highest of the day. And now the international updates. Israel has announced it will revoke the licenses of 37 aid organizations operating in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, citing failure to comply with new registration requirements, a move that has drawn strong international criticism amid an already dire humanitarian situation. Well-known international NGOs, including Action Aid, the International Rescue Committee, and the Norwegian Refugee Council, will have their licenses suspended from 1 January and must halt operations within 60 days. Israeli authorities said the groups failed to provide complete and verifiable personal details of staff, arguing the information is necessary to prevent militant infiltration of humanitarian operations. The decision was condemned by the foreign ministers of 10 countries, including the UK, France, Canada, Japan, and several Nordic nations, who warned the closures would severely restrict access to essential services such as healthcare and called the new rules restrictive and unacceptable. They stressed that conditions in Gaza remain catastrophic. Israel's Ministry of Diaspora Affairs said the measures would not affect aid delivery, claiming assistance continues through UN agencies and other approved channels, while the Israeli military body COGAT said the affected organizations contributed only a small share of total aid. However, humanitarian groups warned the move comes as Gazans are already struggling with acute hunger, displacement, and shortages of basic supplies, and as winter storms and harsh weather further worsen living conditions for vulnerable families sheltering in damaged homes and temporary camps. Russian forces launched a large-scale overnight drone attack on Ukraine's Odessa region, striking residential buildings, logistical hubs and energy infrastructure. Regional Governor Oleg Kuiper confirmed that strike drones caused widespread damage, with fires breaking out in apartment blocks and vehicles destroyed. In Odessa city, 4 people were injured, including 3 children and a 42-year-old man, according to local officials. The facades and windows of several high-rise buildings were shattered, while parts of the city were left without heat, electricity or water. Emergency crews worked through the night to contain fires and assess structural damage. Odessa, a major Black Sea port, has been repeatedly targeted throughout the war, with attacks often hitting energy, transport and port facilities alongside civilian areas. The latest strikes underscore the continuing toll on Ukraine's southern regions as the conflict nears its 4th year. 18 Cambodian soldiers detained in Thailand since July have now crossed the border and returned home following their release under a ceasefire agreement. The handover took place on Wednesday, December 31, 2025, at checkpoints in Chantaburi and Pailin provinces. Officials confirmed the soldiers, held for 155 days in Thai custody, were repatriated as a gesture of goodwill. Their return comes after 20 days of fierce clashes earlier this month, which left at least 101 people dead and displaced more than 500,000 civilians. Exchanges of artillery, rocket fire and air sorties forced nearly 1 million residents from their homes. Thailand's foreign ministry said the release demonstrates its commitment to peace, while Cambodia's defense ministry confirmed the troops' safe arrival and expressed optimism that the ceasefire will hold. The repatriation marks a significant step in easing tensions along the contested border, where both nations have agreed to halt reinforcements and allow civilians to return. Turkish security forces have detained 125 suspected members of the Islamic State, also known as ISIS or Daesh, in sweeping operations across 25 provinces. The coordinated raids come just days before New Year celebrations as authorities heighten security measures nationwide. Officials say the suspects were taken into custody on charges of alleged links to the extremist group, with investigations continuing to determine their activities and networks. The Interior Ministry emphasized that the operations were aimed at preventing potential threats during the holiday period. Turkey has faced repeated challenges from ISIS in recent years, and these latest arrests underscore the government's ongoing efforts to dismantle cells and safeguard public safety. For now, the country remains on high alert as millions prepare to welcome the new year under tightened security. Time again for a short break. We shall be back with more updates. Snow-covered peaks tower over Iran's capital Tehran as the city faces an unusual shutdown. Authorities have declared a bank holiday, closing schools, banks and public institutions. This directive is a response to the biting cold and the urgent need to conserve energy. The skyline of Tehran, framed by the Elborz Mountains, stood quieter than usual today, with traffic reduced and businesses shuttered. Residents were urged to limit electricity and gas consumption as temperatures dropped sharply across the region. This rare closure highlights the strain on infrastructure during extreme winter conditions as Iran grapples with balancing public safety and energy demands. For now, Tehran remains on pause, waiting for the weather to ease and daily life to resume. Eurostar services between London and Paris have resumed after a major power outage in the Channel Tunnel caused widespread disruption. On Tuesday night, thousands of passengers were stranded, with some stuck for more than 6 hours as a broken-down Leh shuttle train and an overhead power supply failure blocked all routes. Repair crews worked overnight to restore power, and Eurostar has confirmed that trains are now running again. However, the operator warns that delays and cancellations may continue as the backlog clears. The first scheduled train to Paris was cancelled early Wednesday, leaving many travellers scrambling to adjust their New Year's Eve plans. Tunnel operator Getlink says full service is gradually being restored. However, passengers are advised to check live updates before heading to stations. The incident highlights the vulnerability of one of Europe's busiest holiday travel routes, especially at peak times. For now, Eurostar is back on track, though the journey may still take longer than expected. Sydney is preparing to welcome the new year with a somber tone. Crowds have already gathered along the harbour, laying out picnic mats to secure the best vantage points for the city's world-famous fireworks. But this year's celebrations carry a moment of reflection. At 11 p.m. local time, parties will pause for a minute of silence as the Sydney Harbour Bridge glows white to symbolise peace. The tribute comes less than 2 weeks after a father and son allegedly opened fire at a Jewish festival in Bondi Beach, killing at least 15 people in Australia's deadliest mass shooting in nearly 3 decades. The fireworks will go ahead as planned, but the city's commemoration underscores both grief and resilience as Sydney ushers in 2026. We'll go for another break here. More international news and sports update coming up next. In central Tripoli, a historic building has reopened its doors to the public, marking a powerful cultural moment for Libya. The National Museum, closed since the 2011 uprising, is once again welcoming visitors. Libyans are wandering past ancient statues and artifacts, reconnecting with a heritage that transcends political divides. The reopening is part of efforts to preserve national identity and foster unity through culture. The museum's revival comes after years of instability, offering citizens a chance to rediscover the country's rich history and traditions. For many, it symbolizes resilience and hope as Libya seeks to rebuild not only its institutions but also its collective memory. As winter grips France, Paris City Hall has extended the hours of its Women's Day Centre, offering vital shelter to those living alone on the streets. The centre, located in a wing of City Hall, has been providing daytime reception and support since 2018. Under the city's severe cold plan, it is now open on weekends, ensuring women have a safe and warm place to stay. The expanded hours are designed to allow women to stay safe and warm during freezing conditions. The initiative highlights Paris's broader efforts to protect vulnerable residents as temperatures drop and the need for emergency shelter grows. And now the sports update. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026 Trophy Tour program is also set to be observed in Nepal. The program will be jointly organized by India and Sri Lanka. According to the Cricket Association of Nepal, CAN, the ICC Men's T20 World Cup cricket tournament will be held from February 7, 2026, while the Trophy Tour will take place in Nepal from January 5 to 7. CAN stated that further details regarding the program, including the schedule, locations and related activities, will be announced through a separate press meet. This will be the first time the ICC Men's T20 World Cup trophy is being brought to Nepal. Nepal will compete in the tournament from Group C alongside England, West Indies, Italy and Bangladesh. And before we wrap up, let's take a look into the headlines once again. And that's it for this edition of NTV World Primetime News. So do join us on our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Smita Singh Tamang signing off for now. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu, Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Kathmandu has long been known as a place where natural beauty, history, culture, and spirituality come together in remarkable harmony. Rising above the western side of the valley stands Swayambhunath, one of Nepal's most revered and ancient sites. Many simply call it Swayambhu. For countless generations, it has been a sanctuary of spiritual devotion, a place where the first light of morning touches the prayer flags and where monks and devotees begin their day in meditation and worship. Swayambhu is cherished by Buddhists from all over the world, yet it holds equal significance for many Hindus. This shared reverence creates a rare sense of unity within its sacred grounds. The origins of Swayambhunath stretch back at least 2.5 millennia. Inscriptions and centuries-old statues found throughout the site testify to its long-standing presence and its profound cultural importance. The stupa itself is one of Nepal's traditional religious landmarks, crowned by the serene eyes of the Buddha that gaze out across all 4 directions. These eyes are regarded as a message of compassion, awareness, and peace for all beings. For Buddhists, the stupa and its symbols become a guide toward understanding the teachings of the Buddha. For Hindu visitors, the temples and images of deities within the complex hold deep spiritual meaning of their own. In 1989, Swayambhunath was formally recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, an honor that elevated Nepal's cultural identity on the global stage and helped protect this extraordinary place for future generations. The surroundings of Swayambhu offer many places of interest. Pilgrims and travelers often find themselves captivated by the calm atmosphere and the panoramic views over the Kathmandu Valley. The architecture of the complex reflects a graceful blend of Nepali and Tibetan influences. The stupa follows ancient Nepali design traditions, while the monasteries and retreat houses that surround it reflect elements of Tibetan craftsmanship. These two styles together give Swayambhunath a distinctive character found nowhere else. Preserving Swayambhu is not only a religious responsibility, it is an effort guided equally by historical and cultural commitment. The temples, statues, and inscriptions within the complex carry stories that span centuries. The main stupa, crowned by the four compassionate eyes, remains the heart of the site. Monks gather each day to meditate and study. Within these halls, elaborate paintings and sacred sculptures portray episodes from the life of the Buddha and remind visitors of the spiritual traditions that continue to flourish here. The entrance to Swayambhunath features a gate designed to convey purity and reverence. Sculptures and painted figures on the gate reveal the guiding ideals of Buddhist philosophy. Scattered around the grounds are ancient inscriptions that preserve the history of the land. Statues of various Buddhas stand alongside images of Parvati and Shiva, creating a space where cultural diversity and shared devotion coexist with harmony. Swayambhunath is one of Nepal's most visited destinations. Its landscapes, spiritual gravity, and cultural richness draw people from around the world. Each year, millions of visitors, both local and international, climb the steps leading toward the stupa. Their presence contributes greatly to Nepal's tourism economy and to the livelihoods of those who live and work nearby. Quake of 2015 brought significant destruction to Swayambhunath. Several structures collapsed and many priceless sculptures were damaged. The impact on the site's cultural heritage was deeply felt throughout the country. Yet, the response to this tragedy revealed the strength of the community. Local residents, government agencies, cultural experts, monks, and international organizations came together to restore the complex. The rebuilding process became more than a physical reconstruction. It became a spiritual effort guided by devotion and the hope of preserving peace and compassion for future generations. Today, visitors find improved pathways, restored shrines, and safe spaces from which to explore the site. Nearby, Guest houses and small hotels offer comfortable places to stay for those who wish to spend more time experiencing the surroundings. For many, Swambhu is not only a religious landmark but a symbol of introspection and inner calm. The peaceful environment encourages reflection. The sacred presence of the stupa gives visitors a sense of quiet strength. The eyes of the Buddha seem to guide those who come seeking balance, clarity, or a moment of stillness. As the sun rises, its light glimmers on the golden pinnacle of the stupa. And as the night falls, the view of Kathmandu from this hilltop feels almost otherworldly, as though the city below is touched by a gentle glow. Swambhunath continues to stand as a reminder of the spiritual harmony that has shaped Nepal for centuries. It invites every visitor to pause, to breathe, and to discover a deeper part of themselves.
Hello, Saudi Kharka, hello! Wow!
एकदमै राम्रो रहेछ रिफ्रेस्ड फिल भयो त्यो क्योसबाट अलि टाढा आएको जस्तो
यहाँसम्म एउटा केबल कार भइदिए एकदम बेटर हुन्थ्यो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
माहौल अथवा यहाँको वातावरण यति रमणीय छ कि यसलाई शब्दमा वर्णन गर्न पनि साध्य छैन
The gently flowing Sani Bhedi is suddenly veiled by drifting clouds, and with the chill rising from its swift current, the desire to soar is fulfilled as we enter eastern Rukum. Stone and clay houses stacked upon one another, the white Himalayan peaks, vibrant flower gardens of Bukhi Patan, melodious rivers and lakes, and unique authentic arts and culture. All of these make Eastern Rukum a place that captivates every visitor. Our aim is to bring this distant, remote land closer to all. This time our destination is Chauri Kharka, located at an altitude of about 4,000 meters above sea level. Our trek begins at Pati Halune. on the border of eastern Rukum and Baglung along the Mid-Hill Highway. Though it is said that the hike to Chauri Kharka takes around 3 hours, we wonder how long it will take us.
रमाइलो छ उड्डान छ हात हातीतिर यतै ल घामले गर्दा मैले एउटा सेकेन्ड पर्छ रमाइलो लाग्यो भन्ने चौध गर्दा भन्ने यस्तो रमाइलो ठाउँ रहेछ हेर्नु
Wow! I'm very happy.
हिजो हामीले यस्तो मजाको सिन हेर्न पाइएन अहिले चाहिँ त्यही अब आज हजुर
बिहान 5 बजे आएर ल्याएको हिजो बेलुका त पुरै कुहिरो दियो यहाँ त केही देखिदैन
Chaurikarka sits high in the hills of Bhume Rural Municipality 1 in eastern Rukum. It is truly a rare gift of nature, beyond words to fully describe. In winter, these hills lie under a blanket of snow, but now they open up in vibrant color. Green pastures, wide grazing lands, blossoming flowers, and herds of yaks, sheep, and horses make Chaurikarka a destination of extraordinary delight. When the sun breaks through the northern peaks, Puta, Dhaulagiri, Chure, and Sisne, they reveal themselves in full grandeur. Rivers flowing through the valleys, including the northern Ganga and Niseldhor, together with the backdrop of Dhor Patan, enchant every traveler. The meadows of Chaurikarka bloom with colorful flowers. Among them, cows, sheep, and horses graze peacefully, creating a scene that feels almost dreamlike. Travelers walk along narrow trails, disappearing and reappearing through the mist, immersed in the enchantment of the landscape.
हाम्रो वरिपरिको यो डाँडाहरू भ्यू भनेको उसु भने वाइल्ड फ्लावर्सले सबैले एकदम रिफ्रेश त्यही नै भन्ने होला आउन पनि वर्थ इटै छ.
The weary faces of trekkers brighten as they take in these views, and you can clearly see joy and wonder reflected in their eyes. Fatigue melts away into the beauty of nature. Eastern Rukum is blessed with a wealth of natural treasures, mountains, rivers, lakes, caves, and valuable herbs. In recent years, Chaurikarka has become an increasingly popular destination for domestic travelers, drawing visitors eager to witness its natural magnificence.
music, dance, food, art and devotion are the lifeblood of Newar culture, an ancient civilization rooted in the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. With lively festivals nearly every fortnight, the Newars celebrate life through a rich tapestry of traditions known as Jatra.
Welcome to Declassified Beyond the Brief. I am Devendra Subedi. What is the importance of scientific research and academics in our day-to-day life? Do the breakthroughs and findings made by great scientists and researchers matter in everyday life of a common person like us? In this episode, we try to declassify the value of academics in life, history-making finding of a Nobel laureate, major challenges the world is facing, the cosmos, the universe, and much more. It is our honor and privilege to welcome Nobel laureate Professor Dr. Takaaki Kazita in the studios of Nepal Television and NTV World. Professor Kazita, welcome to NTV World.
Thank you.
You were the chief guest of the 51st convocation of one of the largest universities of the world, Tribhuvan University. Now, how much do countries like Nepal contribute in the global ecosystem of physics, Professor?
Well, as far as I think, physics is truly a global effort. Therefore, I think Nepal is one of the important contributors to the development of physics.
So Nepal can play or has played, Professor, so far?
Well, I hope Nepal can play more significant role in the future.
Now, going back to the universities, Professor, how did the Japanese universities where you studied shaped your scientific journey up to the Nobel Prize and the research that you conducted?
Thank you for this question. When I was young, I think the Japanese national universities have a kind of academic freedom. I can spend all my time for the research. I think that kind of environment was very important to really produce important scientific result.
But in our part, we often talk about practical education. It should be more day-to-day use. This should come into, but that is the importance of research, isn't it, Professor? We should concentrate. And what about the investment in research?
Well, I think both fundamental research and research that can contribute to tomorrow's life are both important. So we have to support both sides.
If Nepal have to strengthen its higher education system, let's say, what lessons can it learn from Japan at this present time?
In the last 20 or so years, Japanese government tried to reduce the support to the Japanese national universities. Then the effect was clear. The number of papers or number of highly cited papers rapidly decreased. So I think the support from the government, support from all the people in the country is very important for the development of science.
Now we move on to one of the things that you mentioned in your Convocation Day speech, Professor Kazita. You mentioned about some of the major issues the world is facing right now. Can you elaborate something more onto your speech?
Well, I think I had several points. First of all, I mentioned AI, and AI is a kind of new technology, and it seems AI is really going to be really important for our future, and therefore we have to think about the way how to use AI properly. Of course, there are other issues such as climate change. This is again a global issue. Therefore, we all have to work hard to stop the global warming.
How about the geopolitical tensions surrounding this world, Professor Kazita?
Well, I don't want to go into too details about this issue, but well, compared with, say, 20 years ago, well, I am really feeling that our world is changing. I really like to have our world 20 years ago.
That was much better.
Much better, yes.
Will the global dynamics, Professor Kazita, always be dictated by the countries who have a lot of spending in scientific research or the ones that have robust economy? Who do you think will dictate the global dynamics?
Certainly, nowadays, some countries try to control everything, but well, I think every country, every people are player in the world.
So it should be a collaborative world.
Yes.
If you said you can't comment much on that one, now I come to your topic, physics, Professor Kazita. Will the nuclear threat or the race that we see in this world after the evolution of technologies like nuclear fusion, nuclear fission, will that ever end, or are we going to ever see an end to this one?
Difficult question. Well, certainly, as far as the energy is concerned, if we have enough renewable energy resources, I hope we can forget about the nuclear powers and so on. But for the moment, we are not yet that position. So therefore, we still have, in my opinion, we still have to think seriously what will be the best way for the future.
There are always pros and cons of every discovery or whenever there's a new evolution. Should the ones that are a threat to humanity or the environment be, let's say, eliminated right from the initial phase, or they should carry on? Let's take the example of cloning. Like, let's say now we have even reached up to human cloning. There's still a debate in that one. So such type of researches and experiments, should those things be promoted or should not be done at all?
Well, I'm certainly in a little bit conservative side. Well, nowadays, well, the things that science can do have expanded so much. Therefore, when we think about any application, we have to be very serious, and we need to have a significant discussion, and we need to have a consensus among the society.
So does that involve the scientific community only or the common people as well?
I think we should involve the common people.
Now we move on to your specific research research area, Professor Kazita, that won you a Nobel Prize in 2015, physics, the cosmic rays and the neutrino oscillation. What is neutrino physics and how is it different from the particle physics?
Neutrino physics is part of particle physics, but, well, we think now neutrino physics is important because about 25 years ago, people discovered neutrino oscillations that implies neutrinos have small mass. And small mass of neutrinos might be the window to study physics beyond the standard model of particle physics. Therefore, well, we are excited.
Let's say this is something, a standard ball pen. How small and deep is your research when you study the neutrino oscillation? How small is the particle? To what depth do you reach?
Well, in the standard scenario, neutrinos do not have the size. Therefore, I cannot say how small.
Exactly how small they are. But they are not visible to our eyes, are they?
No, it's not possible even for particle physics experiments. We cannot see neutrinos.
So, in simple terms, Professor Kazita, neutrino oscillation, what is it and why it matters to common people like us?
Oh, okay. Well, neutrino oscillations are phenomena that neutrinos, while traveling in the vacuum or even in the matter, they change their type.
Yeah.
That is the neutrino oscillations, and this happens if neutrinos have small mass. Of course, even if neutrinos have small mass, it doesn't matter to our daily life.
It doesn't matter, but it does shape the future of humanity, isn't it?
Well, as a humanity, we would like to understand the secrets of the universe, and therefore we may contribute to expanding our knowledge.
How challenging was it, Professor Kazita, to prove the neutrino oscillation theory experimentally?
Well, okay. When we discovered neutrino oscillations in 1998, well, people were not sure if really neutrinos oscillate. Therefore, we thought it's very important to convince neutrino physicists with a very clear data.
So with the experiment, you provided that data to your team and that did the research?
Yes, our team provided the clean data, yes.
I heard you say, Professor Kazita, my failed research, unsuccessful research, gave me a PhD. And the one that was successful earned you a Nobel Prize. You said somewhere this statement of yours. Can you explain on that one?
Yes, okay, thank you. Well, when I was a PhD student, I wanted to observe proton decays. I was unable to observe, but fortunately I got PhD.
For that particular research?
Yes. And well, even after PhD, I continued search for proton decays. Then, in some day, I noticed that the background events to the search for proton decays are not understood. That was neutrino interactions. Then I changed to this topic.
What does your discovery mean for humanity's or our, let's say, understanding of the matter and the cosmos?
Well, certainly, if we understand, for example, why neutrino mass is so small, it will certainly give us a better understanding of the fundamental theory of the particles, and these particle theories could help understand the universe better.
Is there any practical application of that in our day-to-day life?
No, I don't expect so.
Professor Kazita, you have spoken of super and hyper Kamiokande. You have already worked on that, going underneath the earth and then doing the experiment. Can you explain in simple terms to our viewers what exactly was that Kamiokande? Or you were even talking about the hyper Kamiokande now, which you want to work on.
Okay, thank you. Well, let me talk about the super Kamiokande experiment. It is a very large detector located in deep underground. It is located about 1,000 meters deep underground, and the size is about 40 meters in diameter and 40 meters high, and it contains 50,000 tons of extremely clean water. And you may ask, why you need 50,000 tons of water? Well, the problem is neutrinos essentially pass through everything, but very rarely they interact with matter. Therefore, in order to observe neutrino events, we need large volume. Therefore, we use 50,000 tons of water.
You went underneath, almost 1 kilometer underneath the surface of Earth in that reactor. And then how long did it take to come up with the finding?
Well, in fact, super Kamiokande was large enough. Therefore, in order to discover neutrino oscillations, it took only 2 years.
How large will be the hyper Kamiokande you are talking about?
Hyper Kamiokande will be about 8 times larger in volume than super Kamiokande.
When are you expecting, are you already into that mission, or are you expecting to do it pretty soon?
I think the experiment will start in 2028, so less than 3 years.
So you said there's a lot of collaboration in that one, 22 countries coming together for the Kamiokande. How about this hyper Kamiokande?
22 or 3 countries in collaboration is the hyper Kamiokande experiment. Even in super Kamiokande, we have collaborators from 11 countries.
11 countries then. So you are doubling the number, and it's 8 times larger experiment. I would like to wish you all the best for your hyper Kamiokande right here, right now, Professor Kazita, and hopefully the findings will land you another Nobel Prize, maybe.
Thank you, but I'm not deeply involved in hyper Kamiokande.
All right, but you are the one who started this with the super one, and then hopefully that will be carried forward by the new generation of researchers.
Yes, I hope so.
How important is sustained investment in basic research or scientific breakthroughs in developing countries like Nepal, Professor?
Well, it's an important point. Well, from our experience, I can say the sustained support by the government is really important to carry out basic research. Well, it's not easy to produce important results in basic science, but well, in our case, government was very supportive, and we were able to produce important results over the past 30 years.
Any suggestion you have for developing countries like Nepal, where, as earlier I mentioned, we only talk about practical education, more day-to-day life applications, and why they should also spend in research and all this sort of stuff? Any suggestion you have, Professor?
Well, first of all, in order to develop science, academic freedom is important. So researchers can select whatever they would like to do. So that kind of freedom is very important. And sometimes their research cannot contribute to tomorrow's life. But if we think about the long history of humanity, the basic science, in some cases, contribute significantly to humanities. Therefore, the support to basic science is very important, even in Nepal.
Do you think Nobel-level discoveries or research or findings are possible from countries like Nepal or any other developing countries as well?
I think so. But, well, supporting basic science is really the key to get the fundamental research result.
You spoke about perseverance in your speech in the convocation day. How important is perseverance and patience?
Well, it's absolutely essential to be able to continue the research for a long time.
For example, once you did your research and you couldn't find the proton decaying thing and you earned your PhD. Had you left it there, you would not have reached up to the findings that you have made there. But today, nowadays, youths or even people are very much result-oriented. They want immediate result. They want immediate success. What message you have for them?
I think it's important that researchers find important questions, and it may take long time to answer to these important questions. But if you think this question is important, you should persuade.
So keep working on, think about the long-term impact, do investment from the government side, and the young researchers do not look for immediate success.
That's right. And, well, I think nowadays young researchers have a very high pressure in order to get the next job. Therefore, it's very important that government support young researchers' position, permanent position.
How important is physics, Professor Kazita, to human existence itself, to humanity? Physics.
Well, it's a difficult question. Well, as humanity, we would like to understand the universe better, and we physicists can contribute to our better understanding of the universe. Maybe that's all we can do.
As I earlier asked, in that practical thing you said, our better understanding of our universe. We should understand our universe better. And maybe the researchers in future can take your learning and apply there. How should humanity balance this curiosity-driven science with immediate societal needs?
I think this is a very important question. And, well, certainly, as a physicist working on fundamental things, I really hope stronger support for fundamental research, but the balance between the fundamental research and the improvement of the tomorrow's life is always an issue. And I think we have to discuss as a community what will be the best way for the moment.
Information technology is evolving.
Yeah.
You spoke about AI earlier as well. Do you see it as a challenge, or will it complement human efficiency in the long term?
I think we have to, well, first of all, it is not possible to avoid the use of AI anymore. Then the question is, shall we simply use them without thinking anything?
Yeah.
That is the question. And I think, well, certainly we should use AI, but at the same time, we should not forget the importance of our thinking.
So it's not just the machines we cannot avoid the use of technology and get the benefit out of it, but don't leave it alone, right?
Right.
Okay. Finally, we are reaching almost at the end of this conversation, Professor Kazita. What message would you like to share with young scientists in developing countries like Nepal?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for this question. Well, as I said, physics or science is a global effort. And if young people are interested in science, interested in understanding the nature, please do not hesitate to do research, to become scientists. Please do not hesitate to become scientists.
Final question, Professor Kazita. Say something about Nepal. This is your third time in Nepal. How do you like this country?
Oh, I like Nepal very much. Whenever I come to Nepal, I'm really excited. If I visit the old temple, I'm really inspired, and I find some similarities between Japanese culture and Nepal culture. So I'm always excited to come here.
Thank you so much, Professor, for your time, your precious time. We were really, really honored to have you in our studios of NTV World. Looking forward to your Hyper Kamiokande experiment, which will be a carry forward from what you have left. Thank you so much, Professor Kazita, for your time, for your thoughts. We are really honored to have you in the studios of NTV World. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was indeed an honor for the entire team of NTV World to have world-renowned researcher, physician, the Nobel laureate 2015, Professor Takaaki Kazita. In this episode of Declassified, we tried to explore the cosmos, the universe, the findings of Japanese Nobel Prize-winning physics professor Takaaki Kazita. I know for many of us, the findings of the research that Professor Takaaki Kazita made may not come to our day-to-day life, but the lesson from Professor is, to the scientists, to the researchers, do not hesitate to do research. Do not look for immediate fruits. And for the government, please do make sizable investment in research so that the future of humanity can be shaped in a better way and the world can be a better place for all. Thank you so much for your presence in this episode of Declassified. Until next time, from the entire crew, it's me, Devendra Subedi, saying bye-bye.
A city known for its legacy, Kirtipur. Locals also call it Kipu in their own dialect. It is the largest ancient settlement after Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur. The city still has an impressive Malla era neighborhood. It is also home to Taudaha, the largest lake in the Kathmandu Valley. There are temples, monasteries,
bihars, and stupas for both Hindu and Buddhist devotees, along with countless festivals and ritual celebrations that altogether give Kirtipur its distinct and special character. With its ancient Newar settlements, this place is a beautiful convergence of Newar culture and heritage. The 2nd century settlements here, the temples and the stupas, along with the legends and the faiths surrounding them, are fascinating. Situated beside the Kathmandu Valley, which once was a natural lake itself, Kirtipur developed as a flourishing hub of early settlement and culture. Because of this, the area is exceptionally valuable for historical and cultural study. A long time ago, the children of Kirtipur's farming families apparently made a clay tiger to play with while herding sheep and goats. To make that tiger look even more lifelike, they wanted to add a tongue. So they left their sheep and goats nearby and went into the forest to gather leaves. Upon returning, the children found their sheep and goats missing. And when they investigated, the clay tiger opened its blood-red mouth and claimed to have eaten the animals. Apparently, what had happened was that the deity Bhairav, a Hindu deity, had entered the clay tiger. In their anger, the children then cursed the clay tiger so that its mouth would remain perpetually open. This is the famous legend behind the Bagh Bhairav temple as remembered by the residents of Kirtipur. Bagh Bhairav is the revered deity of Kirtipur's residents. Situated in Kirtipur, this temple is accompanied by several smaller temples, many of which can be traced back to the 2nd century according to the historical records. Among them are temples dedicated to Yamaleshwar, Narayan, Bhavani Shankar, Ramchandra, Manavinayak, Vishwakarma, Sridhar Vishnu, and Mool Ganesh, all of which were constructed in the 2nd century as per many inscriptions. The historical records mention that the Bagh Bhairav temple, originally made by Shivadev, was again renovated in the 16th century by Jagatpal Varma into a 3-tiered pagoda style. This makes the temple a central attraction of Kirtipur. Most Newar settlements, which are one of Nepal's ethnic groups, are adorned with temples and stupas. So Kirtipur is home to countless temples and stupas as well, too many to count by hand. The Uma Maheshwar temple here is located at the highest point in Kirtipur. From here, one can take in panoramic views of the entire Kathmandu Valley. Swayambhu, an ancient Buddhist stupa, is clearly visible from this vantage point. It is said that the temple's elevation is roughly the same as that of Swayambhu's. On clear days, the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, can also be seen from here. Uma Maheshwar, representing the Hindu deities of Shiva and Parvati in another form, is considered a symbol of family happiness and love. The temple's tiered roofs, its design, the surrounding houses, and the views are not only beautiful but also reflect its historical significance. It is an excellent place to explore and spend an entire day. Kirtipur is special not only for Hindu devotees but also for Buddhists. Its stupas and bihars are ideal for the study, research, and promotion of Buddhism. The Chilancho stupa, located atop the hill, is said by historians to have been built during Emperor Ashok's visit to Nepal. Its renovation, however, took place in the 16th century during the time of Jagatpal Varma. This site is ideal for prayer and meditation. It feels like Chilancho spreads wisdom along with its fluttering flags under the open sky. It is said that seeing the hills surrounding the Chilancho stupa, Prithvi Narayan Shaha, the 18th century king who unified Nepal, coveted Kirtipur. His attempts to capture Kirtipur, intended to make conquering Kathmandu, Bhaktapur and Patan easier, only succeeded on the third try.
किर्तिपुरको चाहिँ लोकेसनै अलिकति स्ट्रेटेजिकली एकदम महत्त्वपूर्ण लोकेसनमा छ हैन किनभने किर्तिपुर अब पृथ्वीनारायण शाहलाई पनि के लाग्यो भने किर्तिपुर यो डाँडाकोमा छ डाँडामाथि छ डाँडामा चाहिँ एउटा त्यति बेला चाहिँ किल्लाको रूपमा पनि थियो हैन त्यो भएको नालले चाहिँ किर्तिपुर जित्यो भने अरु चाहिँ सजिलै जित्न सकिन्छ भन्ने खालको पृथ्वीनारायण शाहलाई पनि लागेको थियो हैन त्यसले गर्दाखेरि उले चाहिँ काठमाडौँ भ्यालीलाई वा काठमाडौँ यो जुन तीनवटा शहर र यो भ्यालीलाई आफ्नो कन्ट्रोलमा राख्न अगाडि सबभन्दा पहिला किर्तिपुरमा कन्ट्रोल लिन सक्यो भने यहाँबाट चाहिँ अनि चाहिँ अरुलाई अरु एरियामा चाहिँ सजिलैसँग कन्ट्रोलमा लिन सकिन्छ भन्ने हिसाबले चाहिँ उले चाहिँ यसलाई चाहिँ टार्गेट बनाएको हो एउटा कुरा त यो स्ट्रेटेजिकली उचाइमा परेको हुनाले र यसमा पनि यहाँको कोर बस्ती भनेको चाहिँ डाँडाबाट माथि आउनु पर्ने र त्यति बेला तपाईले सुन्नु भए पनि होला किर्तिपुर चाहिँ पुरा गढ पर्खालले घेरिएको थियो त्यो घेरिएको हुनु र चाहिँ त्यहाँ चाहिँ 12 वटा ढोकाहरू चाहिँ थियो र 12 वटा ढोकाबाट मात्र प्रवेश गर्न सकिने त्यस्तो भएको हुनाले चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ स्ट्रेटेजिकली एउटा चाहिँ यो कोर्टको रूपमा वा चाहिँ गढको रूपमा चाहिँ विकास भएको पाइन्छ फर्स्ट वारमा चाहिँ कालुपाँडे चाहिँ बर्ड भयो कालुपाँडे मार्यो त्यसपछि चाहिँ के भनाइ छ भने किर्तिपुरहरूले चाहिँ कालुपाँडेको टाउको बोकेर हैन त्यहाँ चाहिँ जात्रा गरेको हामी जित्यौं भनेर जात्रा गर्यो भन्ने छ अब त्यो हिस्टोरिकली छ कतिको फ्याक्ट छ थाहा छैन त्यसले गरेर त्यो भनेको चाहिँ त्यो पनि अब त्यो रिस्क त छ नि पृथ्वीनारायण शाहलाई अनि अर्को के छ भने सेकेन्ड वारमा चाहिँ फेरि चाहिँ आफ्नै भाइको चाहिँ आँखा फुटिएको छ हैन त्यसरी दुई पल्ट चाहिँ उले चाहिँ एकदमै हार त्यो पनि हार पनि एकदमै हार मात्र हैन त्यो अब कालुपाँडेको टाउको बोकेर हैन पुरा खुसियालले मनाउनु भनेको त्यसले गरेको चाहिँ एकदमै त्यो ह्युमिलिएट भएको कारणले गर्दाखेरि पछि जब उ सत्तामा आयो भए चाहिँ जब उले कन्ट्रोलमा लियो उले चाहिँ बर्बर तरिकाले नै यो किर्तिपुरहरूलाई पनि दुःख दिनुपर्छ भनेर दुःख दिएकै हो
This stupa houses the Pancha Buddha, the depiction of 5 knowledge of Buddha. Facing east is Akshobhya, mounted on an elephant and with earth-touching gestures. Facing south is Ratnasambhav, mounted on a horse and showing the Varad Mudra, which is a gesture of generosity and granting boons. Facing north is Amitabh, seated on a peacock in the meditation mudra, symbolizing infinite light and compassion. Facing west is Amogha, seated on a Garud with the Nag hood in Abhay Mudra, a gesture of fearlessness and protection. At the center sits Vairochan, mounted on a lion and invisible, imparting profound knowledge of Buddhism. The presence of these 5 Buddhas is believed to guide those who have lost their way, whether it is in spiritual seeking or in travel. The stupas, vajras, and stone statues here are enchanting, capable of captivating visitors for hours. In Panga of Kirtipur, there is a cremation site. The deceased of the Panga community are cremated here, but this place is different from others. According to local tradition, one cannot stay behind after setting the body on fire. Normally in other places in Hindu tradition, after the cremation, the ashes are collected after a process that can take up to hours. Here, however, bodies are covered with 9 pieces of wood for adults and 7 for children, along with water-soaked straw. Then the fire is lit before it is time to leave the site. This tradition is only for the people of Panga. Next to the burial ground stands the Vishnu Devi temple, one of the several Shakti Peeth or sacred power sites of the people of Kirtipur. The area is peaceful and known for its spiritual atmosphere. Kirtipur is not only famous for its monasteries and chaityas, it is also rich in history and culture. This place is known for its year-round festivals, rituals, and vibrant cultural way of life. Among the important festivals are the Satgaunle Jatra, Gai Jatra, Bagh Bhairav Jatra, and Indrayani Jatra. On the day of Gai Jatra, a special dance is performed here. The Dhya Dhya Papa dance, also called Katmar, is a ceremonial performance where dancers in unique costumes move to traditional music. It is an integral part of Kirtipur's cultural identity. Here, visitors can also find various hotels, homestays, and Newari restaurants. The Newari-style houses and pathways decorated with traditional materials are truly captivating, and the popular Newari restaurants, which draw people from all around, are plentiful. A beautiful example of Newari culture is Newari food, which include famous dishes like bara, yomari, and samay bhaji. And visitors relish these dishes with great enjoyment.
अनि अरु भनेको यो सफु मिजा पनि विशेष मान्छेले रुचाउने समय बजी बारा विभिन्न मान्छे पछि फरक छ तर विशेष चाहिँ समय बजी सफु मिजा भेरे आउनुहुन्छ अनि छाङ रक्सी विशेष यहाँको गहना जस्तै नै नेवालानामा यहाँको छाङ रक्सी भनेको एकदमै ओरिजिनल हैन ओरिजिनालिटी भएर चाहिँ मान्छेहरु यहाँको खानामा या छाङ रक्सीमा पनि कुनै मिसावट नभएको चाहिँ प्रुफ भएर चाहिँ सबै मान्छे छाङ खानाको लागि पनि आउनुहुन्छ समय बजीमा अब 12 थरी छन् हैन त्यो पनि हाम्रो शरीरको अर्गानिकमा सबै ठाउँमा चाहिँ सबैमा चाहिने हामी यो विशेष हाम्रो चाहिँ एउटा चाहिँ के भनौं शुभ दिनमा चाहिँ हामी यो पूजा सजा गरेर समयबजी खाने चलन छ नि यो खाली पेटमा हैन त्यो भनेको एउटा राम्रो स्वास्थ्यको लागि एकदमै राम्रो समयबजी भयो अनि भोज चाहिँ हाम्रो एकदमै वैज्ञानिकता हैन अब एकदमै राम्रो तरिकाले चाहिँ नेवारी भोज चाहिँ खुवाउने गर्छौं हामी विशेष यहाँदेखि यो पाचन शक्तिलाई पनि एकदमै ध्यानमा राखेर चाहिँ यो पछि यो भनेर तातो चिसो मिलाएर चाहिँ अन्त्यसम्म चाहिँ खुवाउने चाहिँ एकदमै शरीरको लागि चाहिँ साइन्टिफिक प्रुफ नै छ क्या हाम्रो खानामा चाहिँ.
Just before entering Kirtipur, you arrive at another beautiful spot, Taudaha. Known for its environmental, cultural, and religious significance, this pond stretches about 500 meters in length and 400 meters in width. It is said to be shaped like a funnel. Believed to be dwelling place of Karkotak Nag, a serpent king in Hindu-Buddhist mythology. This lake is closely linked to the legends of Manjushri, a Hindu-Buddhist mythological figure, and the Rato Machindranath Jatra. According to the folklore, when the Kathmandu Valley was still a lake, Manjushri cut open the hills to draw the water. The serpents living there were left without a home, so Bhimsen, a powerful heroic figure in Nepali folklore, created Taudaha to shelter them. The famous photo or vest displayed during the Rato Machindranath Jatra also traces its origins to Karkotak Nagraj and Taudaha. Legend says the vest belonged to Karkotak Nagraj, who gifted it to a farmer after the farmer cured his sick serpent queen.
हाम्रो भ्याली चाहिँ एउटा लेक थियो भन्ने चाहिँ छ. अनि त्यो लेक हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ अब मञ्जुश्री चाहिँ आइपुग्नु भयो यो काठमाडौँ भ्यालीमा. अनि उहाँले चाहिँ अब यहाँ चाहिँ तपाईको मानव बस्ती बसाउँछु भनेर एउटा सोच राख्नुभयो. त्यो क्रममा चाहिँ तपाईको जुन एउटा भ्याली चाहिँ लेक थियो अनि त्यसपछि त्यहाँ तपाईको बीचमा एउटा कमलको फूल थियो अनि त्यसबाट चाहिँ स्वयम्भूनाथ चाहिँ स्थापना भयो भनेर चाहिँ हाम्रो त्यसलाई रिलेट गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अनि तपाईको मञ्जुश्रीले चाहिँ यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ मानव बस्ती बसाउनको लागि तपाईको यो चोबार हाम्रो चोबारको गलछेडो चाहिँ काट्नु भयो. अनि त्यसपछि त्यो कमलको फूल चाहिँ तपाईको स्वयम्भू भयो. अनि त्यसपछि त्यो गलछेडोबाट चाहिँ तपाईको अब सबै पानी सँगसँगै पानीमा हुने सबै चीज बगेर जाने भयो. अनि त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको नागहरू पनि त्यसमा पर्यो. अनि नाग चाहिँ तपाईको त्यो नाग गएपछि चाहिँ अब यो पानी नपर्ने खडेरी लाग्ने तपाईको विभिन्न हिस्ट्री किम्वदन्ती अनुसार तपाईको अनि त्यो हुन्छ भनेर चाहिँ हाम्रो कर्कोटक नाग राजालाई चाहिँ तपाईको यहाँ ल्याएर चाहिँ मञ्जुश्रीले स्थापना गर्नुभयो भन्ने चाहिँ एउटा किम्वदन्ती छ. मसिन्द्रनाथ चाहिँ तपाईको पानीको देवता भनेर पनि चिन्छौँ हामीले. पानीको लागि चाहिँ मसिन्द्रनाथको पूजा गर्ने यो हाम्रो जात्रा गर्ने यो चाहिँ तपाईको त्योसँग भयो. अनि प्लस तपाईको त्यो जुन मसिन्द्रनाथको तपाईको भोटो चाहिँ जुन भोटो चाहिँ त्यो जात्रामा देखाइन्छ त्यो भोटो पनि हाम्रो यहाँको नागले चाहिँ तपाईको दिनुभएको भन्ने चाहिँ एउटा किम्वदन्ती छ. त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको यहाँको नागको चाहिँ तपाईको एउटा किसानले चाहिँ उपचार गरिदिनु भएको थियो आँखाको. अनि त्यो उपचार गरिदिएपछि चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको एउटा गिफ्ट यो भोटो चाहिँ तपाईलाई भनेर किसानलाई दिनुभएको थियो. र त्यो किसान चाहिँ तपाईको काम गर्दा गर्दै खेतमा बारीमा एउटा काम गर्दा गर्दै तपाईको त्यो भोटो राखेर तपाईको काम गरिरहँदाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा भूतले चाहिँ तपाईको त्यो भोटो चोरेर लग्यो अरे. अनि त्यसपछि त्यो भोटो चाहिँ तपाईको चोरेर लाँदाखेरि अनिखेरि त्यो खोज्दाखेरि अब कहीँ पत्ता लागेन. अनि एक दिन चाहिँ यही जात्रामा तपाईको जात्रामा गइराख्दाखेरि चाहिँ तपाईको त्यो भोटो लगाएर आएको चाहिँ देखेर त्यो किसानले. अनि मेरो भोटो भनेर त्यहाँ अब वार भयो भनौँ न. अनि त्यसपछि त्यो भोटो चाहिँ अनि त्यसपछि त्यहाँ जस मसिन्द्रनाथले चाहिँ लिएर यो चाहिँ प्रमाण जसले ल्याउन सक्छ भोटोको मेरो हो भनेर उसैको हुन्छ यो भोटो भनेर चाहिँ तपाईको त्यो मसिन्द्रनाथको जात्रामा चाहिँ हाम्रो त्यो भोटो देखाउने चलन छ र त्यसलाई चाहिँ त्यसरी रिलेटेड छ यो चाहिँ हामीसँग.
Taudaha is rich not only in religious and cultural significance but also in biodiversity. The area is home to 38 species of plants, 36 species of insects, and 116 types of birds. Swans gliding across the lake, birds perched in nearby trees, colorful fish swimming below, and small snakes seen occasionally along the banks. All of it make it easy to lose track of time while observing this vibrant ecosystem. In winter, birds migrate here from Siberia, Mongolia, and Tibet to escape the cold. Species such as lahare, kalihas, khoya, malak, and birds like great cormorant and Indian pond heron are also found here at Taudaha. These migratory birds travel thousands of kilometers from various countries to reach this lake. As a wetland area, Taudaha hosts water, land, vegetation, aquatic animals, amphibians, and other wildlife all in one place. For this reason, the lake attracts everyone from casual tourists to students conducting research.
स्वदेशी पर्यटकहरू चाहिँ महिनामा मैले भन्नुपर्दा एभरेजमा भन्छु हैन 10 देखि 15,000 सम्म आउनुहुन्छ विदेशी पर्यटकहरू पनि आउनुहुन्छ 500 देखि महिनामा 1000 सम्म आन्तरिक पर्यटकहरू आउनुहुन्छ अनि हाम्रो यो पुस माघ जुन जाडो सिजन हुन्छ नि त्यसमा चाहिँ बच्चाहरूको यो शैक्षिक भ्रमणमा आउने बच्चाहरू चाहिँ धेरै त्यो सिजनमा चाहिँ धेरै बच्चाहरू ल्याउनुहुन्छ अनि अघि पछि पनि हाम्रो शैक्षिक भ्रमणमा बच्चाहरू स्कुलबाट पनि आउनुहुन्छ अनि प्लस यो अब कलेजका विद्यार्थीहरू जुन इन्भाइरोमेन्ट साइन्स पढ्ने विद्यार्थीहरू हुन्छन् हैन त्यस्ताहरू पनि अब यो पानीको माछाको इनेरको पनि रिसर्च गर्न पनि विद्यार्थीहरू आउनुहुन्छ यहाँ नेपालीलाई चाहिँ पर पर्सन 30 रुपैयाँ छ विदेशीलाई 50 रुपैयाँ अनि हाम्रो जुन स्कुल कलेजबाट शैक्षिक भ्रमणमा आउनुहुन्छ नि उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले 50% डिस्काउन्ट दिन्छौँ.
As tourist numbers increase, so have vendors selling fish feed around Taudaha. These traders who stay around the lake from morning to evening occasionally also encounter snakes. But believing the snakes to represent Karkotak Nagraj, the traders drive them away by just burning incense.
बिहान 10 बजेतिर आउँछु अनि 5 बजेसम्म बस्छु अब कहिले 10 किलो निस्किदिन्छ कहिले 5 किलो कहिले अब यस्तै 1-2 किलो मात्रै जान्छ म बसेको चाहिँ भयो 14 वर्ष भयो अब पहिला भनेको व्यापार त्यति हुन्थेन अब अहिले भनेको जस बिहान बेलुका खानालाई चाहिँ पुग्छ दिनको कहिले 1200 नि हुन्छ कहिले 2250 नि हुन्छ कहिले 1-200 हुन्छ कहिले 20 रुपैयाँ मात्रै नि हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ हुँदैन जस सँगाली राख्दाखेरि महिनामा 8-10 हजार चाहिँ हुन्छ परारको साल कताबाट सर्व आए देखिन मैले हैन पछि चाहिँ मेरो डडालामा आइपुग्या त्यो सर्व अनि म डडै मैले आँखा चिम्ली अनि सुल्ल आफै सर्व चाहिँ उता तलतिर गयो पहरीतिरै.
Just before reaching Taudaha, Chobar is a unique tourist spot in Kirtipur. Manjushri Park here is one of the popular picnic destinations. The cave, Chobar Gorge, Suspension Bridge, Jalvinayak Temple, and Adinath Lokeshwar Temple are all must-visit sites. This gorge is said to be where Manjushri cut the hills to drain water from the Kathmandu Valley, making it suitable for human settlement. Therefore, this place holds historical and mythological significance. Jalvinayak Temple is located along the Bagmati River. Among Kathmandu Valley's 4 main Ganesh temples, Surya Vinayak, Chandra Vinayak, and Ashok Vinayak, Jalvinayak is one of them. It is built in traditional pagoda style. Toran or archways, tudal or roof struts, and gajur or pinnacles enhance its architectural beauty. So this temple is significant both for religious faith and for historical and architectural value. Spread over 14.76 square kilometers, Kirtipur has many places to explore, which cannot be fully visited in a single day. Its heritage, lifestyle, and festivals are all unique. To guide tourists before visiting, a tourist information and service center has been established. It lies near the Kirtipur's entry point. This center provides information about major tourist attractions and helps make the visit easier. Exploring Kirtipur's historical, religious, cultural, and natural sites is incredibly enchanting. These sites are witnesses to history. For research and study, visiting Kirtipur is essential. The local lifestyle, daily life, the breeze, and the scent of the soil here, all of it are very special. In modern times, as ancient civilizations threaten to vanish, Kirtipur strives to maintain its ancient identity. Its monasteries, temples, chaityas, ponds, markets, and even the language reflect this heritage. Kirtipur is not just a tourist destination. It offers experiences of meditation and knowledge, and of peace and beauty. Its stories and hospitality attract everyone. To witness and feel the unique confluence of history, culture, and nature, visiting Kirtipur is a must, not just once, but again and again.
बागमती प्रदेशका जिल्लाहरूमध्ये सिन्धुपाल्चोक पनि एक हिमाली जिल्ला हो। भौगोलिक रूपमा विकट भए तापनि ऐतिहासिक तथा पर्यटकीय रूपमा सिन्धुपाल्चोक जिल्लाको महत्त्वपूर्ण पहिचान रहेको छ। मेलम्चीदेखि 6 किलोमिटर उत्तर पूर्वको दूरीमा रहेको गोल्मा स्थान गोल्मा राजा र गोल्मा रानीको नामबाट रहन गएको किम्वदन्ती छ। परापूर्वकालको ईटा, ढुङ्गे धारा, सुन बनाउने ढुङ्गा देख्दा जो कोहीलाई पनि वास्तविकताको अनुभूति हुन्छ। गोल्मा स्थानबाट 2 किलोमिटरको दूरीमा अवस्थित 7 धारा डुब्सेश्वर महादेव पवित्र धार्मिक स्थल हो, जसको महिमा प्रचार प्रसारको कमीले गाउँमै सीमित रहेको छ। परापूर्वकालदेखि साधु सन्तहरूको तपोभूमि रहेको डुब्सेश्वर महादेवमा माघे संक्रान्तिको दिनमा झाँक्रीहरूले ढ्याङ्ग्रो जति ठटायो उति नै ढुङ्गाबाट पानीको धारा आउने सत्यता देख्दा जो कोही पनि अचम्मित हुन्छन्। यसैगरी लामा ओडार 7 धारा डुब्सेश्वर महादेवबाट 2 किलोमिटरको दूरीमा पर्दछ। प्राकृतिक छट्टाले सुन्दर मनोरम देखिने यस स्थान लामाहरूको लागि अत्यन्त महत्त्वपूर्ण रहेको छ। पर्यटकीय दृष्टिले त यसको सुन्दरता र महत्त्व बडो गजबको पाइन्छ। सिन्धुपाल्चोक जिल्लाकै विशाल खुलाचौर रहेको यो गुफा डाँडा पर्यटकलाई आनन्दित तुल्याउने एक प्रमुख स्थान हो, जहाँ सिन्धुपाल्चोक जिल्लाकै पहिलो विमानस्थल बनाउन सकिने सम्भावना रहेको छ। 77 वटै जिल्लाहरूको नाममा झण्डा गाडिएको यस ठाउँमा जिल्लाकै गौरवान्वित जलवायुको प्रतिमा रहेको छ। गुफा डाँडाबाट 1 घण्टाको पैदल यात्रापछि ओख्रेनी पुगिन्छ। सिन्धुपाल्चोक जिल्लाको इन्द्रावती गाउँपालिका वार्ड नम्बर 1 मा अवस्थित ओख्रेनी गाउँ सामुद्रिक सतहबाट 2253 मिटर उचाइमा रहेको छ। ओख्रेनीबाट पूर्वमा गौरी शंकर हिमाल, दक्षिणमा दक्षिणकाली मन्दिर, पश्चिममा गणेश हिमाल र उत्तरमा तीनचुले हिमाल रहेको छ। शेर्पा जातिहरूको बाहुल्यता भएको ओख्रेनीमा टिम्मुरको तेल तथा चौरीको छुर्पी स्थानीयहरूले उत्पादन गर्ने गरेका छन्। हलोको चलन अझै पनि देख्न सकिने सिन्धुपाल्चोक जिल्लाको पहाडको गर्भमा लुकेको अत्यन्त सुन्दर स्थान मध्ये ओख्रेनी एक हो। नेपालका पहाडी कुना कन्दराहरू आफ्नो सुन्दरता यसै गरी लुकाएर बसेका छन्। त्यो सुन्दरता उजागर गर्ने दायित्व तपाई हामीको हो। ओख्रेनीबाट 1 घण्टाको उकालो चढेपछि नौलिङ्गेश्वर महादेव पुगिन्छ। जनै पूर्णिमाको दिन यस स्थानमा वर्षेनी भव्य मेला लाग्ने गर्दछ। ग्याल्पो लोसारको दिन यस ठाउँमा शेर्पा समुदायले आफ्नो परम्परा अनुसार नाचगान गर्दछन्। नौलिङ्गेश्वर महादेव छेउमा रहेको प्राकृतिक ढिकी भनेर चिनिने यस स्थान हेर्दा ढुङ्गा खस्न लागेको जस्तो देखिन्छ। हातले पनि हलाउन सकिने यस ढुङ्गा विश्वासै गर्न नसकिने गरी अडिएर बसेको छ। यो प्राकृतिक रूपमा बनेको ढिकीलाई हल्लाएमा मानसिक शान्ति तथा शारीरिक प्रफुल्लता बढ्ने जनविश्वास रहेको छ। हिमालको छेउमा अवस्थित सिन्धुपाल्चोक जिल्लाको उत्तरी भेगमा रहेको अति सुन्दर, आकर्षक, रमणीय र प्राकृतिक सौन्दर्यले भरिभराउ ओख्रेनी गाउँको छानामा रहेको प्राकृतिक ढिकी पर्यटकहरूको पर्खाइमा रहेको।
Russian forces launched a large-scale overnight drone attack on Ukraine's Odessa region, striking residential buildings, logistical hubs, and energy infrastructure. Regional Governor Oleg Kipo confirmed that strike drones caused widespread damage, with fires breaking out in apartment blocks and vehicles destroyed. In Odessa city, 4 people were injured, including 3 children and a 42-year-old man, according to local officials. The facades and windows of several high-rise buildings were shattered, while parts of the city were left without heat, electricity, or water. Emergency crews worked throughout the night to contain fires and access structural damage. Odessa, a major Black Sea port, has been repeatedly targeted throughout the war, with attacks often hitting energy, transport, and port facilities alongside civilian areas. A powerful low-pressure system continues to pound the Gaza Strip with stormy rains and strong winds, worsening already dire humanitarian conditions. Since December 11, heavy rainfall has affected more than 56,000 families, flooding residential areas and displacement camps. This storm has destroyed thousands of tents and makeshift shelters, leaving families exposed to cold, illness, and the risk of drowning. Aid agencies report that at least 42,000 shelters have collapsed since mid-December, while 17 buildings have been damaged beyond repair. As the storm continues, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza deepens, leaving families desperate for relief and highlighting the urgent need for sustained international assistance. An accident occurred on Peru's most famous tourist railway on Tuesday after two trains collided on the line connecting Cusco to Machu Picchu. Authorities confirmed the death of Roberto Cardenas, the engineer of one of the trains, while at least 30 passengers sustained injuries ranging from minor to serious. They were rushed to nearby clinics and hospitals for treatment. The collision occurred along the narrow track heavily used by tourists visiting the ancient Inca citadel. Emergency services responded quickly, evacuating passengers and securing the site to prevent further risk. Local officials have launched an investigation into the cause of the crash. Families of the victims and injured await updates as concerns grow over safety on one of the Peru's most vital tourist routes. Regional Governor of Cusco, Werner Salcedo, has called for clear answers following the incident, stressing accountability on the main line that services Machu Picchu. A major train accident struck southern Kentucky, USA early Tuesday morning. 31 cars of a CSX goods train derailed near Trenton, Todd County, close to the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Authorities confirmed that one car leaked molten sulfur, releasing hazardous fumes and sparking a fire that was later contained. The incident prompted a shelter-in-place order for residents of Trenton, which has since been lifted. Governor Andy Beshear said emergency crews acted swiftly, while hazardous materials teams continue to secure the site. No injuries were reported among the 4 crew members or nearby residents, but U.S. Highway 41 between Trenton and Pembroke remains closed. Officials emphasize that cleanup operations are ongoing, with safety as the top priority. The derailment highlights the risk of transporting industrial chemicals through rural communities. 18 Cambodian soldiers detained in Thailand since July have now crossed the border and returned home following their release under a ceasefire agreement. The handover took place on Wednesday, December 31, 2025, at checkpoints in Chantaburi and Pailin provinces. Officials confirmed the soldiers held for 155 days in Thai custody were repatriated as a gesture of goodwill. Their return comes after 20 days of fierce clashes earlier this month, which left at least 101 people dead and displaced more than 500,000 civilians. Exchanges of artillery, rocket fire, and air sorties forced nearly 1 million residents from their homes. Thailand's foreign ministry said the release demonstrates its commitment to peace, while Cambodia's defense ministry confirmed the troops' safe arrival and expressed optimism that the ceasefire will hold. The repatriation marks a significant step in easing tensions along the contested border, where both nations have agreed to halt reinforcements and allow civilians to return. Eurostar services between London and Paris have resumed after a major power outage in the Channel Tunnel caused widespread disruption. On Tuesday night, thousands of passengers were stranded, with some stuck for more than 6 hours as a broken-down Lee shuttle train and an overhead power supply failure blocked all routes. Repair crews worked overnight to restore power, and Eurostar has confirmed that trains are now running again. However, the operator warns that delays and cancellations may continue as the backlog clears. The first scheduled train to Paris was cancelled early Wednesday, leaving many travelers scrambling to adjust their New Year's Eve plans. Tunnel operator Getlink says full service is gradually being restored, but passengers are advised to check live updates before heading to stations. The incident highlights the vulnerability of one of Europe's busiest holiday travel routes, especially at peak times. For now, Eurostar is back on track, though the journey may still take longer than expected. The final deportation flight of the year has landed in Guatemala City, carrying migrants expelled from the United States. The late arrival Tuesday marking the end of a year in which thousands of Guatemalans were returned under U.S. immigration enforcement. Families and officials gathered at the airport as buses transported the deportees to government reception centers. Officials say the migrants will undergo health checks and registration before being assisted with reintegration programs. The flight underscores the continuing challenges of migration between Central America and the United States, as economic hardship and insecurity drive many to leave. For Guatemala, the return of its citizen on the year's last deportation flight highlights both the human cost of migration and the government's responsibility to support those coming back. Sydney is preparing to welcome the new year with a somber tone. Crowds have already gathered along the harbour, laying out picnic mats to secure the best vantage points for the city's world-famous fireworks. But this year's celebration carries a moment of reflection. At 11 p.m. local time, partiers will pause for a minute of silence as the Sydney Harbour Bridge glows white to symbolize peace. The tribute comes less than 2 weeks after a father and son allegedly opened fire at a Jewish festival in Bondi Beach, killing at least 15 people in Australia's deadliest mass shooting in nearly 3 decades. The fireworks will go ahead as planned, but the city's commemoration underscores both grief and resilience as Sydney ushers in 2026. China has successfully launched a new pair of satellites, Dec.29A and Dec.29B, marking a significant step in its space program. The launch took place on Tuesday and is dedicated to testing advanced technologies for detecting and tracking space objects. The mission will strengthen capabilities in monitoring orbital activity, a growing priority as space becomes increasingly crowded with satellites and debris. The Dec series has long been used for scientific experiments and technology verification, and this latest mission underscores China's push to expand its role in space safety and innovation. With Dec.29A and 29B now in orbit, China continues to advance research that could play a key role in global efforts to ensure secure and sustainable use of outer space.
Only after 6 decades of the institutional development of the now popular game of cricket did Nepal get the opportunity to play in the World Cup. Although cricket was introduced in Nepal during the Rana regime, the sport was confined to a limited number of people, namely the elite. It all started with equipment brought by students returning from their studies in Britain and India. Although Cricket Association of Nepal (CAN) was established in 1947, cricket remained centered among a few affluent individuals and in limited tournaments for a long time. Starting with the Bishnu Trophy in 1948, tournaments were limited to competitions like the Madan Memorial Sealed, Jugal Kishore Trophy, Rammani Trophy, and later the Jaya Trophy. Even as the sport expanded outside Kathmandu Valley, it took decades for cricket to develop at the grassroots level. After the International Cricket Council (ICC) granted Nepal affiliate membership in 1988, Nepali cricket embarked on its international journey. The rule of mandatory participation in tournaments by the ICC and the Asian Cricket Council (ACC) opened doors to international competition for Nepal. After participating in the Under-19 Asian tournament in Hong Kong in 1996, Nepal has not looked back. Winning titles at the Asian and global levels, Nepali cricket team continues its journey towards the pinnacle of world cricket.
Goes down the ground because he was given that line outside off stump. So the first boundary of the contest, a handsome one.
Initially confined to Tulikkhel in Kathmandu, many international tournaments were hosted in Nepal after an international standard ground was built in Kirtipur. Nepal has also shown its proactiveness in differently abled cricket tournaments like the T20 World Cup for the blind in 2012 and the Asian Cricket Tournament for the deaf. Nepali women's national cricket team has also achieved remarkable success in a short period of time. The latest addition in Nepali cricket is the floodlit Tribhuvan University Cricket Stadium and the Nepal Premier League that has provided opportunity for Nepali players to rub shoulders with world-class players.
Nepal is a country well known for the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, and the birthplace of Lord Buddha, the pioneer of peace. This is a country equally graced by the beauty of natural scenery and cultural riches. Unity in diversity, immense tolerance, and confluence of coexistence, Nepal is a country of its own uniqueness. Lord Buddha, the pioneer of non-violence, tolerance, and peace, was born on the full moon day in Lumbini in 623 BC. Peace, compassion, mercy, tolerance, and salvation are the perennial paths of Buddhism that lead or have been leading mankind to complete freedom and welfare of all humankind. Lord Buddha taught the world to engage more on spiritual contemplation following those paths. Buddhism has indeed become a new way to most sought peace and prosperity. Thus, Lumbini has been growing into a sacred destination not only for Buddhists but also for peace lovers and spiritual practitioners. The life story and its supporting remnants related to the childhood life of Prince Siddhartha Gautam can still be seen and heard in Kapilvastu. The sacred historical bits and pieces attached to King Suddhodana, the father of Lord Buddha, which are of archaeological significance, will speak of Kapilvastu as an open museum. The remnant of eastern gate of the compound of King Suddhodana's palace was the main gate to the premises You can witness here the entrance gates in all 4 directions, and indeed countless remains lying on your left and right, and back and front, bearing historical significance. In ancient time, the area was even known as Kapilvastu as today it is, but later the place was also called Tulalakot. According to Buddhist books and literature, Devdaha in Rupanderi district was homeland of Lord Buddha's maternal uncle and father-in-law as well. The bricks used to build homes are still lying plenty scattered there, and to your wonder, some bricks even weigh 12 kilograms. There is another place called Kudan, which is within the district headquarters of Taulihawa. And legend has that here, King Suddhodan encountered his son Siddhartha for the first time after the latter was enlightened to Buddha. This place was also called Nigrodhara, which is now surrounded by the remnants of stupas. Similarly, this was the very place where Buddha's stepmother, Gautami Prajapati, handed monk's dress over to Lord Buddha. Likewise, Ramgram in Navalparasi district is the place where a stupa of Lord Buddha's cool bone was built after his parinirvana demise. Excavation is still undergoing in this place. Kapilvastu, Lumbini, Ramgram and Devdaha are therefore indelible places highly attached to the life of Lord Buddha. Kapilvastu was the kingdom of Sakya, Lord Buddha's clan, whereas Ramgram and Devdaha were of Koliyas. And the two states were bordered by Rohini River, some 27 kilometers east. To Kapilvastu was Lumbini, which was at that time densely cocooned by sal and ashok trees and was popularly known as Sacred Garden. Buddhist tales say once when Buddha's mother Mayadevi was journeying to her parental home, Mayadevi, she experienced delivery symptoms. Gripping a branch of a tree, she gave birth to Prince Siddhartha. According to some old Buddhist literature, the birth of Prince Siddhartha bore several symptoms and well indicated that the newborn baby was not a common birth, but a birth of a dignified, spiritual, and an incarnate. Legend has that the newborn baby walked 7 steps far immediately after it was off mother's womb. Moreover, the new baby uttered the following revelations: I would be the first among the mortals to go beyond passing through this worldly web. This is my last birth. Rebirth never happens with me again. Prince Siddhartha lived an affluent life of 29 years at Kapilvastu Palace. But when he tried to penetrate and see close to the eternal truth of life, then he started contemplating on life. Why does a man become old? Why does he suffer from different diseases? Why does he die? These were the pertinent questions that haunted him most. Driven by divine spirit to find ultimate truth, he decided to renounce royal life. One night, he left his family, friends, and palace to seek salvation and eternal truth. Roaming several days, he reached Bodh Gaya of India, and there under a peepal tree, he had gone for meditation and became Buddha. He gave his first religious preaching in Sarnath in Varanasi, India. He talked about eternal truth, human duty, peace, and the path of salvation there, and earned a number of followers. Buddha underwent parinirvana, death, at the age of 80 in Kushinagar. Addressing his followers just before his parinirvana, Lord Buddha said, "My devotees will visit and throng around the places where I took birth, where I was enlightened, where I first delivered my preaching, and where I got parinirvana." So, Lumbini, saturated by Lord Buddha's peace-loaded messages for over ages, has been the most sacred religious sites for many, if not only for Buddhists. Today, the Buddhists and the followers of Buddhism and peace lovers of the world over visit Lumbini to pay homage to Lord Buddha and feel and get familiar to his brainchild, peace. King Ashoka, a staunch supporter of Buddha, visited Lumbini in 249 BC and built a pillar quite near to Buddha's nativity site. The Ashoka pillar bears an inscription that says, "Buddha was born here." Lumbini is not only an attractive tourism hub today, but it's also a live state of historical and archaeological significance. To preserve Lumbini, the government of Nepal and Japan Buddhist Association have jointly launched the excavation since 1992. Lumbini had undergone negligence of both government and non-government entities for centuries. Planned and coordinated effort began only in 1953. The United Nations appointed famous Japanese professor and engineer Kenjo Tange to make a master plan for the development of Lumbini. Government of Nepal accepted the proposed master plan in 1978. To develop Lumbini according to the master plan, Government of Nepal established Lumbini Development Fund in 1985. According to the master plan, Lumbini Development Region has been divided into 3 zones. At the meantime, several phases of development have also been adopted. In first zone comes Sacred Garden. Second, Zone of Stupas. And in third comes New Lumbini Village. It is expected that the Sacred Garden will create a kind of aura, ensuring peaceful ambience, natural serenity, and religious sacredness to its visitors, in which they can feel deep Lord Buddha's message of peace and compassion. The very core of Lumbini Garden is the nativity site of Buddha. The plain bas relief of Maya Devi, which is supposed to be about 17 to 1800 years old and depicts the nativity scene, has been put in the newly renovated temple. Near the temple lies Sakya Kund, sacred pond, where Maya Devi was supposed to have taken bath before giving birth to Buddha. Zone of Stupas is another important feature of Lumbini Master Plan, within which territory countries, international associations, and devotees of world over can build stupas of their own in dedication to Lord Buddha. Moreover, the zone of stupas has been divided into 2. In the western part, the followers of Mahayana sect are building their stupas, whereas eastern part is dominated by Theravada sect. This zone of stupas has 41 geographic subdivisions in which various countries, organizations, and devotees have been building chortains, monasteries, and stupas respectively. With a view to carry study and research on Buddhism and its inherent philosophy, a cultural studies center has been set up in Lumbini. The study center has museum, library, and archives in which you can find Buddhism-related books, literature, arts, and other valuable materials. Similarly, Lumbini International Research Center has been set up, which provides materials and other needed support to researchers of other religion, philosophy, and culture. There is also a library for those who want to study about peace and religion. Another major attraction of Lumbini is its eternal flame, which is placed in Shanti Kunj Peace Arbor. The flame was ignited on the occasion of the International Peace Year in 1985. The flame can be considered as bold symbol to keep Lord Buddha's peace messages alive. Lumbini Village is the exterior part of Lumbini Master Plan, where various facilities of lodging and fooding for the visitors are catered in depending on their capacities. There are a number of cheap and affordable rest houses to moderate ones and luxury hotels laced by all modern amenities. A peace stupa has been built in the northern side of Lumbini. It is the tallest stupa in the area. The story of the greatness of Lord Buddha's birthplace, Lumbini, is not an imagined story of a next world. Lumbini, in fact, is the most sacred place which can emanate peace, friendship, kindness, compassion, and feeling of coexistence to all people of all ages. This is a destination to inward peace, a holy place for enlightenment. Indeed, the sacredness of Lumbini existed in the past too. It is today too, and it will be tomorrow too.
Everest, I would say, is high, but it's easier to climb than Makalu. Makalu is a little bit technical. Kanchenjunga is very high. It's technical and it's isolated. Everest, you get internet on base camp all the time. Camp 2 is quite big. Camp 2, you get internet again. Now people even have internet on Camp 4. So I would say Everest is easier, it's higher, difficult for sure, but Makalu and Kanchenjunga are less climbed and they are definitely harder. Kanchenjunga was very hard. They have different challenges, but I think K2 is definitely more technical, more harder. So K2 has different challenges, but both mountains have different challenges. If I have to compare the two, one is K2 is more. So I'm planning to climb Shishapangma in autumn because China sometimes doesn't give permits out. It's better to climb when the permits are being given. And I'm planning to climb that. I climbed in Nepal mostly with Imagine Nepal, one peak with 7 summits. I always go with one Sherpa because I think it's safer. I mean, when I send mostly, I just keep going. I don't need anybody, but if any emergency happens, then it's better to have a guide with you and a local guide who knows the mountain. I'm strong enough when sometimes I'm just going by myself. I do need oxygen, so they carry it. But I am a mother of 2 small girls, so I will not climb without the help of Sherpa. It's something usually mothers, like I haven't seen any young mothers on the mountain, so it's not, because it's not easy to leave your young kids. Anything can happen if you die, then who's going to look after the kids. But I have some sort of confidence. Maybe people will not agree, but I know I will come back down for my young girls. And usually people say, how can you leave your young girls behind? But when I'm on the mountain, I have a difficult moment. I think about my daughters, that my daughters need me, so I need to go back no matter what. So I put extra effort. I'm more focused just because I know I have 2 daughters home. So they've been my strength, not my weakness. I think collaboration is very important. Like you said, Pakistan and Nepal has most number of 8,000 meter peaks. We can learn a lot from Nepal when it comes to tourism because we are very behind. Your economy, you get in your GDP, most of the revenue comes from tourism, and we have beautiful mountains like Nepal, but we have very minimal revenue that comes from tourism. So we can learn definitely from Nepal, and the process is like everything. When we get to Nepal, to when we get to base camp, to summit, back, and then out of the country, it's like I love the process in Nepal. We are very far behind, and but we have tourism potential. So I think we can collaborate in that sense where we can learn from Nepal experience. I don't see many Nepalis in Pakistan, so I mean we should like promote tourism of Nepalis also, and Pakistanis coming also to each other's country. There's definitely room for improvement when it comes to collaboration between the two countries, and I know we love Nepali and Nepali also love us, so yeah, we need to make use of that. I think first time the process of coming in, because in Pakistan it was hard. Now it's improving. As soon as we come in, it was easy. People are really nice. I think most Nepali I met are nice, friendly. They know how to communicate, and yeah, I think that was the best part: the friendliness of the Nepali people and the kindness. Hardship for me personally is being away from family. So Kanchenjunga, for example, I said is isolated. It's very far from connectivity. So not being able to speak to the family, for example, was the hard. I mean, nothing that I had no difficulty from Nepal itself or the people from Nepal, but just being away from family and emotional difficulty.
Experience has always been good. Nepali, if I say Nepali, I would say like धेरै राम्रो छ. मलाई नेपालको टुरिज्म मेरो एक्सपिरियन्स धेरै मन पर्छ, खुसी लाग्छ नेपालमा. यस्तो घर जस्तो भएको. I've loved Nepal. This country has accepted me a lot, and it's a pleasure for me to be here always. If we talk about Nepal, I think it's more commercial, and I think the tourism in Nepal is like very fast in Pakistan, but now eventually Pakistan is growing as well. But if I compare Karakoram or Himalayas, Karakoram are more like steeper and more difficult, more technical to climb, and the specific region and the moving glaciers and everything that make them more difficult, and especially the change of weather. So I believe that the Karakorams are more difficult to climb. I've seen a lot of Sherpas in Nepal, in Pakistan, who come to climb a lot of mountains. Mero sabai sathiharu Nepalko, every season they come to K2 and Nanga Parbat and Broad Peak to climb that mountain, and they are one of the lead climbers as well. So, in Pakistan, there is much respect to the Sherpas. In Pakistan is to Sherparu sabai धेरै मन पर्छ पाकिस्तानमा. यो जो सेम घर जस्तो लाग्छ. मलाई त तीनवटा कन्ट्री त मन पर्छ. तिब्बतमा अलिकति गाह्रो छ, यसको पर्मिटको भिजाको अलिकति गाह्रो छ. अनि नेपालमा त इजी, पाकिस्तानमा इजी हो. मलाई त राम्रो लाग्छ. It's more like Nepal or Pakistan friendship expedition, something like that. And I think it's a great idea. It should be initiated. And we are up, me, Sarvaz, Naila, we are one of the Pakistani climbers, and yes, of course in Nepal there are a lot of climbers as well. So we can combine an expedition, we can launch it to Everest or K2, whatever it feels like.
I climb Nanga Parbat solo, also Broad Peaks. Then K2 I have one Pakistani climbing partner. Sherpa in last one day, just and Camp 4 to Camp 4, I use Sherpa. जिस कंपनी में मैं आया था उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं आप अकेले क्लाइंब कर सकते हैं, लेकिन विंड बहुत ज़्यादा है, लेकिन आपको शेरपा लेके जाना पड़ेगा. फिर आखिरी दिन वो शेरपा साथ दिया, तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वो शेरपा ने बहुत सपोर्ट किया. शेरपा ने भी, विंड भी बहुत ज़्यादा था, तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह समिट हो गया उस वजह से. माउंटेन इज़ नॉट डिफरेंट. मुश्किल वो भी है, मुश्किल ये भी है. यहाँ पे लोग कहते हैं कि माउंट एवरेस्ट बहुत आसान है, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है. यहाँ के जो लोग हैं उन लोगों ने काम किया है, इस वजह से यहाँ पे आसान है. अदरवाइज़ आप ख़ुद से, जिस तरीके से हमने क्लाइंबिंग की यहाँ पे, ख़ुद से अगर क्लाइंबिंग करें, आप अपना जूता खुद पहने, अपने लिए पानी खुद बनाएं, अपने लिए रूट खुद बनाएं, तो ये बहुत आसान काम नहीं है. क्योंकि मैंने देखा है एवरेस्ट के अंदर, एवरेस्ट का कैंप 4 तक, बेस कैंप से कैंप 4 से समिट इतना ही डिस्टेंस बराबर है. तो डेथ जोन के अंदर आप 6-7 घंटा 12 घंटा आप रहते हैं, आसान नहीं है। तो हर पहाड़ का अपना एक खेल है। जैसा K2 है, K2 के ऊपर एवलांच वगैरह होते हैं, आइस फॉल होता है, रॉक गिरता है। यहाँ पे ये नहीं होता, लेकिन उसके बदले में फिर इसकी हाई बहुत ज़्यादा है, बहुत ज़्यादा हाई है और लंबा बहुत ज़्यादा है। तो इंसान है, बहरहाल वो क्या कहते हैं कि तकलीफ़ होती है हर जगह पे, हर पहाड़ का अपनी एक तकलीफ़ है। तो बहरहाल ये मेरे लिए बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था। मैंने बहुत कुछ सीखा यहाँ पे नेपाल में आके, क्योंकि यहाँ पे जिस तरीके से लोग काम करते हैं, इवेंट बेस कैंप से लेके टॉप तक जो लोग काम करते हैं, अगर इस तरीके से अगर हम कोशिश करें पाकिस्तान के अंदर, अगर हमारे जो क्लाइंट्स है इंटरनेशनल लेवल के जो क्लाइंट्स आते हैं उनके लिए इस तरीके से प्रोफेशनल तरीके से हम अगर खिदमत करें तो डेफिनेटली पाकिस्तान के अंदर भी बहुत ज़्यादा टूरिज़म आ सकता है। क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ पे एक पाकिस्तान के अंदर एक चीज़ की कमी है कि प्रोफेशनल लोग बहुत कम हैं। यानी जैसा माउंटेन गाइड्स है ही नहीं कोई, मतलब सरबाज वगैरह जो अभी जो नए लड़का है, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा अगर आने वाले 2-3 साल में ये एक आध होंगे। तो हमें इनिशियल स्टेज पे यहाँ पे किसी तरीके से हमें कोई ऐसा एक्सेस मिल जाए कि हमें कोई ट्रेनिंग्स मिल जाए जिस तरीके से यहाँ पे लोग काम करते हैं। इसी तरीके से अगर हम पाकिस्तान में भी थोड़ा सा अवेयरनेस के साथ अगर हमें 1 साल की अगर ट्रेनिंग दे दे तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हमारे लोग भी बहुत ज़्यादा तगड़े हैं। तो क्योंकि जो क्लाइंट जो है वो सर्टिफिकेशन देखता है, तो वो देखता है कि कितना ट्रेंड है और कितना मतलब इसके पास एक्सपीरियंस है। तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह एक्सपीरियंस तो हम लोगों के पास भी बहुत है, लेकिन सर्टिफिकेशन नहीं होने की वजह से मतलब फॉरेनर जो है जो हमारे पर ट्रस्ट कम करता है। तो ज़्यादातर पाकिस्तान के अंदर भी नेपाल से जो शेरपाज है उनको लेके आते हैं और उनके ऊपर ज़्यादा ट्रस्ट किया जाता है, हमारे ऊपर ट्रस्ट कम किया जाता है।
I like it when someone says you looks like a Sherpa, or you say that some or says you are like a Sherpas, you're like strong with Sherpa. I'm very happy because in this world, in this our climbing community, Sherpa is like brand. Yeah. So I'm very happy when someone says you looks like Sherpa, or you like Sherpa. Oh yeah, in 2021, in COVID time, he said, "Oh, Nepali or Pakistani passport." I said, "Oh, come on, man. I'm from Pakistan." So yeah, my look is like a Tibetan, and my mother from Skardu, and yeah, I climbed my first 8,000 is Nanga Parbat with Sherpas. So maybe Imaji is the first K2 winter summiter. I'm lucky. I climbed with Imaji my first 8,000. Even I start my climbing career with Sherpas. So till now, I think 90% of my 8,000ers are climbing career with Sherpas. So most of my climbs with Sherpas in Pakistan, Nepal, and in Tibet, China. Like Tikcha, like this, yeah. I feel when I come to Nepal, I feel like my second home, to be honest. All Sherpas, even 80% of Sherpas, they know me. They know me. And I have a good relation with Sherpas. They respect. I think who are living in the mountains, almost same culture, same honesty, and yeah, little bit food is a little bit different, but yeah, I think who are living on the mountains, connect with nature, so both are the same, but so we need to extend our seasons, like autumn. We have good autumn and spring also, but we have no qualified climbers, guides, so we need work on this, and then we, yes, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, because when I start my climbing career in 2016-17, and I climbed my first 8,000er and Nanga Parbat, that time I announced Mission Summit 14 without oxygen. But later on Annapurna, Kanchenjunga and Everest, the last part, I feel the weather was very bad and strong winds. I use oxygen. So I repeat this year these 3 peaks like K2 in last year, Annapurna and Kanchenjunga this season. So I'm very happy. This is the big, I think, in adventure tourism, like in climbing. You can say it's a FIFA World Cup, like when you are climbing without oxygen, without Sherpa. But we help. We need without Sherpa's help. You can't say without Sherpa. So without oxygen, I complete my Mission Summit 14 and become first Pakistani. This is not for me or not my family. It's this record for whole Pakistan. So I'm feeling very proud. To be honest, after 8 years, after 8 years, I complete my big dream. I think this is sometime when I remember my all past and my climbing career, I feel very different because I came as a kitchen boy, as a porter. I worked as a kitchen boy 6-7 years when I was in college. So after 8 years, when I complete my Mission Summit 14, it looks like a dream. It looks like of course different experience because it's involved weather, it's terrain, But it's most difficult is of course Kanchenjunga and Annapurna here in Nepal, in Pakistan K2 and Lanka Parbat. So every peak have different terrain, different hardness or difficult level is. Manaslu is like I think easiest mountain in Mission Summit 14, like in Pakistan G2 and Manaslu in Nepal is easiest. Sometimes it's like 2 years, 3 years ago, the BKO launch came and even our team, 3 Sherpas injured. Sometimes it's more, mountain is mountain. We can't fight against the nature. Like sometimes happen. Every mountain is like difficult level is different. But sometimes easy. You can say this is easy, but it's like you remember in Shishapama last year in 2023. Big accident there, and Gina from US, Anna, and one of the Lama, one of the best climber in Nepal, we lost. Sometimes it's happened like this. If you have manpower, Annapurna first. Between Camp 2 and Camp 3, you can't understand what happened. When you are climbing between Camp 2 and Camp 3, sometimes your breath level is like, I can't explain because I climbed 2 times, so I feel inside. So I climbed 3 times K2, but I think in Pakistan we have very strong climbers, but like trainings, even in here in Nepal, I think 3-4 big like NNMGA, IFMGA. Like this institute, but in Pakistan, till now, single person we have not certified, IFMGA certified. But I think in Nepal, 80 plus IFMGA guides. So we need collaboration with Nepal or like Norway. So we need to establish some good institutes, schools, training schools. Then hopefully we have in future we improve in climbing and in tourism department. Nepal is like really they make good rules and regulations for tourists. What you need, is freedom. Everything is available. Every year more people. I saw more climbers visiting Nepal. And more ability, like IFMGA guides, more they add every year like 5-6. So this is a good sign for Nepal to boost adventure tourism in Nepal. Oh, in starting days, I faced very difficult because I have no sponsors. But Migmaji, again, Migmaji is like my brother. He helped me a lot, and yes, if I'm here this time in Nepal, and I knew into because of him, he's helped like his brother, and Alhamdulillah, I hard worker, and God give me a opportunity, and give me success one by one, and yeah, now I am here. And after my 6th peak, I got first sponsors, local sponsor from Pakistan. Then till now I have. Because before 6th, I visited 2 times in Nepal, once Manasu and Lhotse. So yeah, that time Migmaji gave me an opportunity to come to Nepal and climb with my company, and I already 2 trainings from here, me and Abdul Joshi and Suhail from Pakistan. So in future, yes. But now I am getting old, so yeah, my plan is like this. I want to introduce IFMGA in Pakistan, the most important thing. We have no single one, IFMGA certified single one. So we need to establish some schools, some training centers. And yeah, I work with as a guide. Yeah, it's different question. I think so. I don't like even too much branding, but I work as a ground level to establish one school and more people to involve in climbing, because we have potential. We have 8,000ers or 6,000 and 7,000, even in Pakistan, unclimbed peaks also. So I want to try to establish one good school, and yes, I have some. I already start my book. So yeah, we are thinking about also a documentary, good documentary, not like maybe 20% little bit up and down, but 80% I want natural to try natural, not like fake. Friend, my partner, Saad Munawar, is just 3 days before he climbed from north side, Everest. He's the first Pakistani to climb from north side. From north side. So yeah, he's nice writer also. So we together. So from when humans are approached and interfere in the nature, yeah, there are vast. But we need to clean, because you saw nowadays last 3-4 years climate change, like you don't understand what happened on whole. But we have big glaciers. The most affected areas, I think, in Nepal and Pakistan, because we have big glaciers like Siachen, Himalaya here, Siachen, Baltoro, Biafo. So we need to protect also our glaciers.
Pakistani climbers today here, and this is also a shared heritage of Pakistan and Nepal, that out of 14 8,000ers, 13 of us, 13 we share between us, and K2 in Everest, you can see on the plaque that is also on the right on my wall, that we share this heritage. And recently I also congratulate Nepal for holding Sagarmatha Samvad, which highlighted that ecology and the mountains' fragile ecology is not a given, and we need to do something to protect it. And in doing so, I think we celebrate our climbers, and we also celebrate those who are preserving it and the geography of the region. Climbers, some of them are here, they can also join them, and then they can have a joint expedition both to K2 and Everest.
New Year 2026 ushers in with hope and celebrations. Nepal's ailing tourism sector encouraged despite peak season debacle. Nepal's election body says no blacklist for candidates submitting election expenditure details, urges public and media to rely on official information. Severe cold wave hit southern Nepal's Tarai plains, disrupting normal life. Schools closed in several central districts. Nepal's political leaders reaffirm elections as the only solution to crisis, stress timely polls to restore stability after youth-led protests. Israel to revoke licenses of 37 aid groups in Gaza and West Bank. International NGOs face shutdown amid warnings of worsening humanitarian crisis. And ICC T20 World Cup trophy to visit Nepal for the first time. Nepal set to compete in Group C. Hello there, welcome to NTV World News Hour. I'm Smita Gising Tamang, and you are watching us live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in details. Auckland lit up the skies with dazzling fireworks as New Zealand became the first country to ring in 2026. Crowds gathered around the iconic Sky Tower, celebrating with music, lights and festive cheer. Following New Zealand, Sydney welcomed the new year with its first set of spectacular fireworks since the Bondi terror attack in December 2025. Also, countries across Asia, Europe and the Americas joined the global celebration, with cities hosting countdown events, fireworks and cultural festivities. Nepal prepares to celebrate the advent of English New Year. Major cities and tourist hubs, including Kathmandu's Darbar Marg and Thamel, are gearing up for countdown events and celebrations. Despite various upheavals this year, including Gen Z-led protests and unseasonal snowfall, Nepal witnessed a remarkable boom in tourism. We look more onto this in our issue of the day. Nepal's Election Commission has clarified that candidates who complied with legal requirements for submitting and publishing their campaign expenditure have not been blacklisted, dismissing recent media reports as inaccurate. Commission spokesperson Narayan Prasad Bhattarai said the confusion arose after reports suggested even compliant candidates were included on a blacklist. Only those who failed to disclose election expenses were penalized, fined 1,500 rupees, which is approximately $11 and required to resubmit their financial details. Candidates who have paid fines or settled cases through the courts face no restrictions on contesting future elections. The Commission emphasized that transparency in campaign financing remains a legal requirement and urged the public and media to rely on official statements to avoid misinformation. Severe cold grips southern Nepal as the Tarai Plains face bone-chilling temperatures and dense fog. Districts including Bara, Parsa, Siraha and Saptari are hardest hit, with temperatures dropping to 11 to 12 degrees Celsius. Hospitals are overwhelmed with patients suffering from cold-related illness, while schools are closed and firewood is being distributed to vulnerable residents. Air and road travel are also disrupted due to low visibility. Officials urge people to stay warm and limit outdoor activity as the harsh winter continues. We will delve deeper into this in our cover story further. At a multi-party national dialogue chaired by Prime Minister Sushila Karki, political leaders, including former Prime Ministers, reaffirmed that elections are the only solution to Nepal's current political crisis. The dialogue, organized by the Federation of Nepalese Chambers of Commerce and Industry on cooperation for peace, stability and prosperity, comes in the wake of recent Gen Z-led protests demanding accountability and an end to corruption. Leaders criticized the events of September 8 and 9 as wrong, grieving the losses they caused, and stressed that the interim government is mandated to hold elections on schedule in line with the movement's demands. All participants agreed that timely elections are crucial to restore political stability, uphold law and order, and ensure a conducive environment for peace, stability, and national progress in Nepal. Israel has announced it will revoke the licenses of 37 aid organizations operating in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, including well-known NGOs such as ActionAid, the International Rescue Committee and the Norwegian Refugee Council. The authorities say the groups failed to provide verifiable staff details required to prevent militant infiltration and must halt operations within 60 days. The decision has drawn strong international criticism, with foreign ministers from the UK, France, Canada, Japan and Nordic countries warning that the closures will limit access to essential services like healthcare. While Israel claims aid will continue through UN agencies, humanitarian groups warn that Gazans already facing hunger, displacement and harsh winter conditions will be severely affected. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026 Trophy Tour program is also set to be observed in Nepal. The program will be jointly organized by India and Sri Lanka. According to the Cricket Association of Nepal, CAN, the ICC Men's T20 World Cup cricket tournament will be held from February 7, 2026, while the Trophy Tour will take place in Nepal from January 5 to 7. CAN stated that further details regarding the program, including the schedule, locations and related activities, will be announced through a separate press meet. This will be the first time the ICC Men's T20 World Cup trophy is being brought to Nepal. Nepal will compete in the tournament from Group C alongside England, West Indies, Italy and Bangladesh. As winter tightens its grip on Nepal, the cold tells a different story in every region, from snowbound Himalayas to sunlit but freezing hills and smog-choked Tarai Plains left without warmth for weeks. This in our cover story after this short break. You're watching NTV World and this is the News Hour. Turning to our cover story for the day. As the winter chill grips southern Asia, Nepal faces a unique pattern due to its diverse geography. While the northern Himalayas sees heavy snowfall, the central hills see bright sunshine but drop in the mercury. The Tarai Plain, that is the hottest region of the country, sees major impact of the cold due to thick smog and sunless sky for almost a month period. Regina Rai with our local correspondent Guru Prasad Gautam explains more.
The southern district in the Tarai Plains of Nepal are grappling with an intense cold wave. Temperatures have plummeted to a yearly low of 11 to 12 degrees Celsius, affecting elderly, street dwellers, daily wage workers, and school students. While the temperature reading does not tell excessive cold, the thick smoke accompanied by bone-chilling mist makes the sun invisible for days. The hospitals in the plains are overwhelmed with patients with cold-related complaints. District including Bara, Parsa, Siraha, Saptari and the surrounding areas are the hardest hit. Typically occurring between mid-December and February, the cold spell has arrived with particular intensity, causing daily life to grind to a near halt. According to the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, minimum records have hovered around 11 degrees Celsius, while daytime highs barely reach 12 degrees Celsius. Health officials in Madhya province have reported a worrying rise in respiratory and heart-related illness.
प्रेसरको बिरामीहरूलाई मस्तिष्कघात र हृदयघात यो दुईटा कुरा पनि एकदम धेरै बढेछ। अस्ति म ओपीडीमा बस्दाखेरि बिहानदेखि नै 3टा हार्ट अट्याक र 2टा स्ट्रोकको पेशेन्ट आउनु।
At the provincial hospital in Kalaiya, around 70 patients with cold-related ailments visit daily. The most vulnerable homeless individuals, daily wage workers, students, and the elderly have borne the brunt of the cold. In response, all 16 local levels in southern Bara have closed schools and distributed firewood, with the relief efforts still underway. Daily life has been severely disrupted as market activities have slowed. Residents are venturing out only when necessary, and dense fog has reduced road visibility, causing traffic disruptions. Air travel has also been affected, with flights from Simra Airport to Kathmandu repeatedly delayed over the past 2 weeks due to low visibility. As the Tarai braces for continued cold and fog, authorities and communities alike are struggling to keep vulnerable populations safe and ensure that essential services continue despite the harsh winter conditions.
As temperatures plummet across the country, health experts are warning of a sharp rise in winter-related ailments, ranging from severe respiratory infections and heart strain to overlooked risks like dehydration and seasonal affective disorder. Doctors urge particular caution for infants, the elderly, and those with pre-existing conditions, advising that simple precautions are essential to prevent common seasonal health issues from becoming life-threatening. Sabika Shrestha brings more.
As temperatures continue to fall, the dipping mercury quietly but steadily affects the human body. Doctors warn the drop in temperature triggers a range of health problems, especially among infants, senior citizens, and people with existing illnesses. Respiratory infections are the most visible impact of winter.
Pneumonia is one of the most common complications of cold. So besides pneumonia, they can also develop flu, common cold. And another condition is called bronchitis, which is just the inflammation of the respiratory tract. Just they are coughing during the morning and during the night, and they don't have any other symptoms. Okay, so this is also a type of asthma. Okay, so this is called a cough variant asthma, where the patient will just be coughing during the winter seasons.
The cold does not affect everyone in the same way.
Infants and in children, their body surface to their weight ratio is different. Okay, they have less weight, but the body surface area is more. So that means they will release more amount of heat proportional to the body. Children who are less than 1 year of old, they are highly prone to developing pneumonia if you don't keep them warm, if they are exposed to the air and to the pollution as well, which can act as an aggravating factor. In the older generation, those people who have asthma, those people who are smokers, okay, so they can have an exaggerated response to their chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, okay, because we all may have seen that older people, they start having breathing problems, mostly the smokers.
Cold temperatures also strain the heart. As blood vessels constrict to conserve heat, the heart works harder to pump blood.
During the cold, our blood vessels tend to constrict. What this does is that the heart has to put more pressure in pumping blood, so it will cause higher blood pressure in us. The chance is rare, but it might lead to cases of stroke as well.
Mental health is another concern often overlooked in winter. Reduced sunlight and limited outdoor activity can affect mood.
They can also develop some emotional and mental problems, such as this condition known as seasonal affective disorder, where people start showing signs of depression. They don't want to go out. Okay, so this can also happen.
Doctors are also drawing attention to dehydration, a hidden winter risk. People tend to drink less water because they do not feel thirsty in winter, though the year remains extremely dry during the season. Health experts stress that regular fluid intake is essential as body continuously loses moisture in winter. Health officials advise staying warm, drinking enough fluids, avoiding smoke exposure, and seeking medical help at the earliest in case of any emergency. As winter tightens its grip, simple precautions can help prevent cold-related illnesses from becoming life-threatening. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Samir Thapa reporting for NTV World.
And that wraps up our in-depth look at how Nepal is coping with the winter chill. And after the break, in our issue of the day, we take a closer look at Nepal's tourism growth. In other updates, we cover the government's commitment to holding elections in March 2026 and political leaders' positive response to the upcoming polls. Stay with us. We now turn to our issue of the day. Despite political turbulence and pandemic setbacks, Nepal's tourism bounced back in 2025 with over 1.06 million international visitors, boosting the country's travel sector. This signals a recovery and growing global confidence, even amid political and seasonal challenges. Dec.2025 takes a look.
Nepal's tourism sector in 2025 tells a story of resilience. According to data from the Nepal Tourism Board, Nepal welcomed around 1,060,000 international tourists by November 2025 and is expected to reach 1,150,000 visitors by the end of the year. This growth comes despite a challenging year. At the peak of the tourism season, especially around November, Nepal went through a political crisis, creating confusion among international tourists about safety. Tourism and hospitality industries that were slowly rising after the COVID pandemic saw multiple cancellations in the peak season. Despite the month-long disruption, data presented by Nepal Tourism Board paints an optimistic picture.
We can see industry, compared to last year, we have number of domestic tourists are increasing, and we have number of tourists from the neighboring countries, especially from India. There is a lot of our international tourists are increasing, and if we compare to the other years, the number of tourists are increasing, and we hope 2025 is actually successful. Even we have some disturbance, but we are still happy that the number of tourists are coming up.
The year there is some problem on the country, but for the tourism perspective, there is a positive in Pokhara.
Between January and October 2025, Nepal welcomed 943,716 foreign tourists, slightly higher than in the same period in 2024. During months of uncertainty, the board launched a campaign, I Am in Nepal Now, encouraging tourists already in the country to share their real-time experiences. At the same time, videos showing tourists being escorted by police police and assisted by protesters themselves buzzed the internet, reinforcing Nepal's belief guests are gods. As Nepal Tourism Board marks its 27th anniversary, officials highlighted progress made in strengthening tourism infrastructure.
From sustainable tourism, we are slowly and rapidly moving into the regenerative tourism. New concept has been arising. New areas we are focusing on gastronomic tourism.
With arrivals nearing 1,150,000, improved infrastructure and growing global confidence, 2025 signals recovery and renewed trust in Nepal as a destination. However, the country where tourism is the main foreign currency earning sector is far from reaching its expected number, is welcoming 2,500,000 foreign tourists a year. The numbers only tell the story of the foreign tourist arriving by air, while the latest trend of Indian tourists enjoying vacation via inland route is often missed. Diksha Awasthi with camera person Anup Khimire reporting for NTV World.
This trend complements data from the Nepal Tourism Board showing over 1.06 million international arrivals by November 2025, with projections reaching 1.15 million by year-end. Nepal's tourism sector in 2025 continues to see strong growth, with high-altitude destinations like Muktinath Temple in Mustang drawing large crowds despite the winter chill. Located 3,800 meters above sea level, the temple welcomed over 251,000 visitors, including 48,000 international from mid-July to mid-December, says the Mustang District Police Office. Temperatures in Upper Mustang have dropped to minus 20 degrees Celsius, yet devotees and tourists continue to visit, keeping the temple bustling. Tour operators say that while extreme cold affects local daily life, steady tourist arrivals reflect a growing confidence in Nepal as a safe and attractive travel destination. Nepal shines as a year tourism destination, drawing over 1 million visitors in 2025 despite cold and challenges. Nepal enjoys two major tourist seasons, spring and autumn, but still the climate, natural beauty and above all the humility of the people makes Nepal a tourism destination for all seasons.
Nepal enjoys two major tourist seasons, spring and autumn, of which the second one is in bloom at present. The 3-month-long seasons as per Gregorian calendar sadly last for 2 months only in Nepali lunar calendar. Another major tourism season is spring, when climbers from around the world gather for mountaineering, mainly in the Everest region. Make no mistake, Nepal is not just for spring and autumn. Nepal has a lot to offer even in the winter as well as summer.
In winter season, we have been focusing on different activities since 5 years. Generally, we do say ski is a major tourism activities in winter, and there is snowboarding. It's on the activities, and we can say nowadays ice skating and ice climbing.
World knows Nepal as a Himalayan country. However, Nepal also has climatic zone from alpine region of the Himalayas to the tropical plains in the Tarai. This is what makes Nepal an all-weather tourism destination.
Nepal is widely popular for autumn and spring season for foreigners, but we claim that Nepal is for all seasons. As Nepal Tourism Organization, as we claim that we are a national tourism organization promoting Nepal as a prime tourism destination, premier tourism destination in the world.
Home to 10 UNESCO listed World Heritage Sites that define Nepal's tourism brand in nature, culture and adventure. Nepal's World Heritage Site include global height of Mount Everest and divine light of Lord Buddha's birthplace, Lumbini. Nepal has thousands of trekking guides, hundreds of tour and river guides. Women are an integral part of Nepal's trekking and mountaineering community, which makes the country one of the safest places in South Asia, both for independent and group travel.
Nepal, I think, is really safe for women traveler, and as I am a woman myself, and I have been making packages for women from around the world, and we also get queries from women who want to travel as a solo traveler, and they ask me like how can they feel safe here and everything, and I tell them that maybe you can come with like a package trip. So we will have like someone waiting for you at the airport, and you will have all the services here with someone accompanying you all the time, and at the end after the trip we drop you to the airport, so it's like completely safe.
Nepal is celebrating tourism decade, and welcoming tourists 365 days a year is both a priority of the policy and the practice of the industry.
In our public pulse tonight, we asked the people what needs to be done to promote Nepal as everyone's tourism destination. Let's take a look.
First thing is air access, then infrastructure development in Nepal, because naturally we are already topmost destination, but we need to finishing this, decorate by human development factor.
Maybe add more fleet to Nepal Airlines so that we can connect directly to other destinations where the main source markets where we can bring tourists direct to Nepal. And second thing is our road connectivity within Nepal is very bad, and we need to solve this problem and do a lot of marketings overseas.
If we can do improving our infrastructure as well as the connecting flight with the target market country, I think our tourism will be growing. Thank you.
We need to have empathy to welcome our guests. Nepal is very more than mountains, and Nepal is very more than sceneries. People come to Nepal to see how people react in Nepal. So the best thing is to educate the people is the best way to promote Nepal.
And the mostly is important is the flight. So we should promote the flight reasonable price and the many destination to pick up the guests from the other countries. That's why we need about that, and we need a good service. This is already we do every time in Nepal.
And to give more information on this, we have Mr. Jivanraj Sapkota, General Secretary of Pokhara Tourism Council and also a tourism entrepreneur, who speaks to us from Nepal's major tourism hub, Pokhara, which is at the moment bustling with tourists, especially in this New Year's Eve. Mr. Sapkota.
Hello, good evening from Pokhara.
Mr. Sapkota, welcome to NTV World News Hour.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Let's just jump straight to the questions then. Nepal welcomed over 1 million international tourists in 2025 despite political uncertainty and harsh winter conditions. What do you think has driven this renewed confidence among travelers?
Yes, this year we have some political issues. The international air flight here to Nepal was rapidly increased, but still we got a quite good volume of the travelers to Nepal. Mostly many of them are renewed and with confidence they travel to Nepal. The main reason I think is we have the some things which in the world rarely can get it: nature, culture and adventures. And our hospitality and our service sectors are also improve a lot year on year continuously. So in all over the world, Nepal has not only Himalayas but our nature, culture and adventures. Besides that, some road and infrastructure has been also helped to make a confidence for the travelers, and also the safety. Most of the travelers to Nepal who want to visit here, they can feel safe to visit Nepal. The security system is getting much better. Road is improving. Infrastructure and service sectors also they are doing quite good. So I think that this sector helps to build the confidence for the travelers and they visit to travel to Nepal.
Well, that's an improvement. And although you have already covered this, but I'd like to reiterate this question. How is the tourism industry adapting services and infrastructure to support year-round tourism?
That means the tourism infrastructures government are doing something to here. But besides that, also some private sector are doing some different movements for it, and to increase the volume of tourists to Nepal. Uh, Nepal Tourism Board play an important role. Pokhara Tourism Council also play an important roles. And our culture, we go through the community-based tourism. We focus for the off the beaten path, and we want to give the service, not only service, different activities all over the year. Play the Nepal for all season. That is also helps and is more adapting for the tourists to visit Nepal.
And looking ahead, what policy support or private sector initiatives are most needed to sustain tourism growth and position Nepal as a truly all-season destination?
Yes, very important question. Thank you. Normally, we expect we needed the tourism-friendly policy from the government sectors. Government also have to invest more for the infrastructure like easy road access, airport connectivity, and we do have a 3 international airports now, but still we did not get a continuous regular flight from Pokhara International Airport and Gautam Buddha International Airport. For that part, the government have to play a vital role for that. But same way, we private sector also have to play a positive role for it to sustain the tourism, like to promote, to participate different international travel fair, to do marketing by ourselves, also to organize the event. Like now I'm in Pokhara and Pokhara Street Festival is going on, and this is one of the major festival in Pokhara to invite the international tourists even in winter to Pokhara, because many years before in Pokhara in December, January, we have a very few tourists, and now because of this festival, we have a good volume of tourists here, which is good for the Pokhara. And now this festival is going for 27 years continuously. So around the year we have to organize such an event. Like in June, July, it is a monsoon season in Nepal, but Pokhara Tourism Council organized the mud festival, rice planting festival, and later on rice harvesting festival. So we want to promote not only the adventure tourism, we want to promote the agro tourism also, religious tourism also. Now in wellness tourism is a big demand for Nepal.
Thank you, Mr. Sabkota. Thank you.
You must
Thank you for joining with us. That was Jeevan Raj Sabkota, General Secretary at Pokhara Tourism Council, giving us more insight on tourism boom in Nepal. And that was our issue of the day. We now move on to other updates. Underused and non-functional airports further limit Nepal's ability to efficiently handle international tourists, highlighting ongoing challenges in the aviation sector, even as the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal enters its 27th year. Underused and non-functional airports further limit the country's capacity to handle international tourists efficiently. Much of Nepal's aviation sector and airport infrastructure remains underutilized or non-functional, even as the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal enters its 27th year. Nepal has a total of 55 airports, but only 26 are in regular operation. Political influence and a focus on prestige projects rather than technical necessity have put billions of rupees of state investment at risk. At least 26 airports are currently completely closed, including facilities in Lamidara, Boitari, Chaurjahari in Rukum, Doti, Manang, Masinechor in Dolpa, Tikapur and Safe Bagar. Although billions have been spent on airport infrastructure, only 25 airports are operational and 14 of them are running at a loss. Of the country's airports, 42 have paved runways, while 13 remain unpaved, often halting flights during the monsoon season. Although 10 airports are equipped for night operations, only 3 currently provide effective night flights. At a multi-party national dialogue in Kathmandu, Prime Minister Sushila Karki, political leaders and people from the business fraternity were univocal that elections are the only solution to Nepal's current political crisis. At the program, Prime Minister Karki said establishing the foundation of good governance and holding election to the House of Representatives are clear mandate given to the incumbent government.
सरकार राजनीतिक दल तथा युवाहरूसँगको निरन्तर संवाद र सहयोगमा तोकिएकी मितिमा निर्वाचन गर्ने अवस्थामा पनि हामी पुगेका छौं। यसका लागि म सम्पूर्ण राजनीतिक दल, निर्वाचन आयोग लगायत सरोकारवालाहरू प्रति हामी आभारी छौं। यो असामान्य परिस्थितिलाई सम्हाल्दै पुनः भड्किन नदिन र शान्ति सुव्यवस्था कायम गर्न सरकारले निकै संयमका साथ व्यवहार गरिरहेको छ।
Coordinator of the Nepali Communist Party NCP, Pushpakamal Dahal, emphasized that holding elections as scheduled is essential to resolve the ongoing political crisis. The former Prime Minister stated that forming a new parliament through a fair and secure electoral process is crucial for achieving peace, stability and prosperity in Nepal.
हामीले यो संकटको समाधान गर्ने भनेको राष्ट्रिय राजनीतिक या सर्वपक्षीय सहमति नै हो। चुनावमा गए पनि हामीले सहमतिबाटै जानुपर्ने हुन्छ र अन्य कुनै विकल्पको बारेमा सोच्ने हो भने पनि राष्ट्रिय राजनीतिक सहमतिबाट नै जानुपर्छ भनेको थिए। अप्ठ्याराहरू झेल्दै निर्वाचन नै हो देशको निकास सहज वातावरण बनाउने, अर्को होइन भनेर जो दृढता तपाईहरुले प्रदर्शन गर्नुभयो र अब सबै राजनीतिक दल र आम जनता पनि अब निर्वाचनको मानसिकतामा अगाडि बढ्ने वातावरण बनाउनु भयो। त्यसको लागि विशेष रूपले सरकार र त्यसको नेतृत्व धन्यवादको पात्र भएको मैले महसुस गर्दछु।
Former Prime Minister and Unified Socialist Chairman Madhav Kumar Nepal also shared his take on the matter.
चुनौतीहरू छन् र यसको निम्ति सरकार गम्भीर छ भन्ने म ठान्दछु। त्यसो यी सबै कुरामा पनि वर्तमान सरकारको प्रमुख दायित्व शान्तिपूर्ण ढंगले निर्वाचन सम्पन्न गर्ने कुराको साथसाथै केही अहिले संरचनाहरूमा सुधार गर्न सकिने पनि भएको हुनाले त्यसमा पनि समय दिनुपर्ने आवश्यकता पर्छ। हाम्रा माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूहरू पनि हुनुहुन्छ, त्यो क्षेत्रमा कसरी संरचनामा रहेका त्रुटिहरूलाई सुधार गर्ने हो या सिस्टम कसरी बसाल्न सक्ने हो, अहिलेसम्म भएका राम्रा कामलाई कसरी जोगाउने र कमजोरीलाई कसरी सुधार गर्ने त्यो पनि त्यसमा ध्यान दिनुपर्ने आवश्यकता पर्दछ।
Similarly, former Prime Minister and leader of Lokatantrik Pragatishil Party Baburam Bhattrai also spoke regarding the matter.
त्यसले राजनीतिक स्थिरता नभएसम्म शान्ति हुँदैन, नीतिगत स्थिरता हुँदैन। त्यो नभएसम्म लगानी आउँदैन, लगानी तपाईले नलगाएसम्म दुई अङ्कको आर्थिक वृद्धि दर हुँदैन र त्यो नभएसम्म अर्थतन्त्रले टेक अफ गर्दैन। पहिले यो काम गरौँ, अनि भ्रष्टाचार लगाएको कुरा म आएपछि गर्छु भन्नुहुन्छ साथीहरु। कसरी गर्ने? संस्थाको सुधार गरौँ, हाम्रो ब्युरोक्रेसीको सुधार गरौँ, न्यायालयको चाहिँ सुधार गरौँ, हाम्रा जुन आयोगहरू छन् त्यसलाई सुधार गरौँ।
Rashtriya Prajatantra Party RPP led by Rajendra Lingden and RPP Nepal led by Kamal Thapa have merged. The unification was announced at a program held in Kathmandu where Lingden and Thapa signed a 6-point framework document related to the merger. According to the framework, the unified party will be guided by principles including a Hindu state aligned with Sanatan Dharma with full religious freedom, democracy with a constitutional monarchy, strong local autonomous governance, a liberal economy and a non-aligned foreign policy. The document also states that Rajendra Lingden will remain the party chair and leaders who were elected to the Central Committee through the RPP's Unity General Convention but later chose RPP Nepal will be reinstated to their respective positions. Speaking at the unification announcement, RPP chair Rajendra Lingden said the party would now become stronger with senior leaders returning together. 4 years ago, after losing to Lingden in the race for RPP chair at the party's General Convention, Thapa had left the party and formed RPP Nepal. The Madhya Pradesh provincial government has completed the formation of its cabinet with the appointment of 6 ministers nearly a month after Chief Minister Krishna Prasad Yadav assumed office. Province Chief Dr. Surendra Labkarna administered the oath of office in secrecy to the new ministers at Madhesh Bhawan in Janakpur Dham, Dhanusha on Thursday. On the occasion, the province chief administered oath to Minister of Labour and Transport Manish Kumar Suman, Minister for Physical Infrastructure Development Raj Kumar Gupta, Minister for Forest and Environment Shankar Prasad Chaudhary, Minister for Land Management, Agriculture and Cooperatives Shyam Prasad Patel, and Minister for Sports and Social Welfare Basant Kumar Kushwaha. Likewise, Fakira Mahathir, who has been entrusted with responsibility of the Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Communications and Ministry of Law, also took the oath. International news coming up next. For now, a quick recap of the headlines. New Year 2026 ushers in with hope and celebrations. Nepal's ailing tourism sector encouraged despite peak season tobacco. Nepal's election body says no blacklist for candidates submitting election expenditure details, urges public and media to rely on official information. Severe cold wave hit southern Nepal's Tarai Plains, disrupting normal life. Schools closed in several central districts. Nepal's political leaders reaffirm elections as the only solution to crisis, stress timely polls to restore stability after youth-led protests. Israel to revoke licenses of 37 aid groups in Gaza and West Bank. International NGOs face shutdown amid warnings of worsening humanitarian crisis. And ICC T20 World Cup trophy to visit Nepal for the first time. Nepal set to compete in Group C. Russian forces launched a large-scale overnight drone attack on Ukraine's Odessa region, striking residential buildings, logistical hubs and energy infrastructure. Regional Governor Oleg Kipper confirmed that strike drones caused widespread damage, with fires breaking out in apartment blocks and vehicles destroyed. In Odessa city, 4 people were injured, including 3 children and a 42-year-old man, according to local officials. The facades and windows of several high-rise buildings were shattered, while parts of the city were left without heat, electricity or water. Emergency crews worked through the night to contain fires and assess structural damage. Odessa, a major Black Sea port, has been repeatedly targeted throughout the war, with attacks often hitting energy, transport and port facilities alongside civilian areas. The latest strikes underscore the continuing toll on Ukraine's southern regions as the conflict nears its 4th year. 18 Cambodian soldiers detained in Thailand since July have now crossed the border and returned home following their release under a ceasefire agreement. The handover took place on Wednesday, December 31, 2025, at checkpoints in Chantaburi and Pailin provinces. Officials confirmed the soldiers, held for 155 days in Thai custody, were repatriated as a gesture of goodwill. Their return comes after 20 days of fierce clashes earlier this month, which left at least 101 people dead and displaced more than 500,000 civilians. Exchanges of artillery, rocket fire and air sorties forced nearly 1 million residents from their homes. The repatriation marks a significant step in easing tensions along the contested border, where both nations have agreed to halt reinforcements and allow civilians to return. Turkish security forces have detained 125 suspected members of the Islamic State, also known as ISIS or Daesh, in sweeping operations across 25 provinces. The coordinated raids come just days before New Year celebrations as authorities heightened security measures nationwide. Officials say the suspects were taken into custody on charges of alleged links to the extremist group, with investigations continuing to determine their activities and networks. The Interior Ministry emphasized that the operations were aimed at preventing potential threats during the holiday period. Turkey has faced repeated challenges from ISIS in recent years, and these latest arrests underscore the government's ongoing efforts to dismantle cells and safeguard public safety. For now, the country remains on high alert as millions prepare to welcome the new year under tightened security. We'll go for another break here. Business news and sports update coming up next.
Thieves have stolen around $35 million and valuables from a Sparkasse bank branch in Gelsenkirchen, Western Germany, after breaking into the bank's underground vault during the Christmas holiday period. The suspects used heavy drilling equipment to access the vault and forced open more than 3,000 safe deposit boxes containing cash, gold, and jewelry. Authorities described the operation as highly professional. The crime was discovered early Monday after a fire alarm was triggered. Investigators believe the perpetrators entered and exited the building via an adjacent parking garage and fled in a vehicle seen on security footage. Sparkasse said about 95% of safe deposit boxes at the branch were compromised, making it highly likely many customers were affected. The bank noted that contents of individual boxes are insured up to around $12,000, with customers advised to check additional coverage under personal insurance policies. The branch remains closed as the investigation continues. Mexico will impose new tariffs on roughly 500,000 imported products beginning January 1, 2026, following an update to its general import and export tax law. The measures approved by Congress in early December introduced duties ranging from 5% to 50%, with most set at up to 35%, primarily affecting imports from Asian countries without free trade agreements with Mexico. China is expected to be the most impacted alongside India, South Korea, Thailand, and Indonesia. The tariffs will apply to a wide range of goods, including automobiles and auto parts, textiles, apparel, plastics, and steel. The Mexican government says the move is intended to protect domestic industries, support reindustrialization, and reduce trade imbalances. Officials estimate the tariff will help safeguard hundreds of thousands of jobs and generate approximately $3.8 billion in additional revenue next year. Analysts widely view the policy as aligning Mexico more closely with U.S. trade strategy, particularly ahead of the upcoming review of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, despite government claims that the measures are not targeted at any specific country. China has urged the Netherlands to reverse what it called serious errors in its handling of semiconductor firm Nexperia, warning that the move risks disrupting the global chip supply chain. The comments followed a defense by Dutch Economic Affairs Minister Vincent Karremans of the government's decision last September to take control of Nexperia, a Dutch chipmaker owned by China's Wingtech. Dutch authorities said the intervention was intended to prevent the transfer of sensitive technology and production capacity to China. China's Ministry of Commerce said government interference in Nexperia's operations had harmed global semiconductor stability and placed responsibility squarely on the Netherlands, calling for immediate corrective action. The dispute comes amid heightened global semiconductor tensions as China accelerates efforts to strengthen its domestic chip industry, while facing tighter controls on technology access in Europe and the United States. China has stepped up support for its semiconductor sector in recent years, seeking to reduce reliance on foreign suppliers dominated by South Korean and US firms. Warren Buffett, one of the most influential figures in global finance, is stepping down as chief executive of Berkshire Hathaway, the iconic American conglomerate, ending a leadership era that helped define modern investing and corporate governance in the United States and beyond. Widely known as the Oracle of Omaha, Buffett built the company into a vast enterprise with major American roots and significant interests, spanning insurance, energy, railroads, manufacturing, and consumer brands. Through his shareholder letters, annual meetings, and disciplined long-term investment approach, he has influenced generations of business leaders on corporate governance, capital allocation, and leadership. Buffett, 95, has consistently ranked among the world's wealthiest individuals and is widely regarded as one of the most successful investors in history. Leadership of Berkshire Hathaway will pass to longtime deputy Greg Abel, who takes over on Thursday. Buffett will remain a prominent figure at the company as chair, while day-to-day management shifts to the next generation of leadership.
Now the sports update. The women's semi-finals of the National Volleyball Championship have been finalized. Nepal Police will face the Nepal Army, while Nepal APF will play against a New Diamond Club. Nepal Police advanced unbeaten, defeating Madhya Province 3-0, and APF qualified as the Group B runners-up. From Group A, Triveni Army Club and New Diamond Youth Sports Club reached the semi-finals. In the men's category, Koshi Province and Buranilkantha Volleyball Club advanced to the quarter-finals. Buranilkantha defeated Jaulakhel 3-1 and Koshi Province beat Kirtipur 3-0. Buranilkantha will next face Group A winner Help Nepal, while Koshi Province will play Group B winner Nepal Police. Time now for the weather update, first from Nepal and then from the world. And before we wrap up, the headlines once again. New Year 2026 ushers in with hope and celebrations. Nepal's ailing tourism sector encouraged despite peak season debacle. Nepal's election body says no blacklist for candidates submitting election expenditure details, urges public and media to rely on official information. Severe cold wave hit southern Nepal's Tarai plains, disrupting normal life. Schools closed in several central districts. Nepal's political leaders reaffirm elections as the only solution to crisis, stress timely polls to restore stability after youth-led protests. Israel to revoke licenses of 37 aid groups in Gaza and West Bank. International NGOs face shutdown amid warnings of worsening humanitarian crisis. And ICC T20 World Cup trophy to visit Nepal for the first time. Nepal set to compete in Group C. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. To join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Smita Gising Tamang signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.